I became a planet. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51. Time flies. It took Lu Liang more than 1,000 years to crack and absorb the power of the star soul in the genetic laboratory. During this period of time, the surface of the planet has changed greatly. The first human civilization was founded by the Dragon Kingdom. As the beginning of an era, it is called the first year of the Dragon calendar. Today, it has developed to the 2122nd year of the Dragon calendar. Countless high-tech machines have appeared, and the development speed of the planet has exceeded Lu Liang's expectations. Many strange and bizarre technological products are also the first time Lu Liang has seen them. Today, his previous knowledge has finally been replaced and eliminated, and everything has to be learned from scratch. The humans on the planet have also stopped their work at this moment, and time seems to have stopped halfway at this moment. Their brains are evolving rapidly. Fortunately, the aircraft in the air and the cars on the ground already have intelligent automatic driving. Otherwise, I really don't know how many accidents will occur. But even so, accidents are still difficult to avoid. A dandy boy is driving an old sports car and driving happily on the roads in the city. Since the emergence of fully automatic intelligent floating cars, few people choose to drive this old-fashioned means of transportation. Those who still play with this kind of old-fashioned sports car are all young people who seek tension and excitement. They spend a lot of money to buy discontinued sports cars and race on roads where few people drive, seeking the pleasure brought by the surge of adrenaline. At this moment, the eyes of the standy young man suddenly became blank. Old-fashioned sports cars are not equipped with intelligent driving functions. The dandy young man stepped on the accelerator with his right foot, and the sports car rushed straight to the barriers on both sides of the road like an arrow from a string. But by chance, the section of the road he passed was a bridge. After smashing the barriers on the side of the road, he jumped down from the bridge, but under the bridge was a square with a large number of people. If the sports car jumped into the crowd at this moment, the consequences would be disastrous. In the next moment, human evolution had ended, and people had recovered. At this time, the people on the square heard a whistling sound coming from above. It was a sports car with bright colors and distinctive personality, and it was about to hit the square. And the place where the sports car hit happened to be a child playing. In such a short time, people didn't even have time to remind themselves, and could only scream. The next second, the car flying in the air had already hit her. The child finally saw a car about to hit her, and subconsciously closed her eyes and stretched out her hands, trying to resist the car. But the sports car was close at hand, but it didn't hit her. The little girl slowly opened her eyes, but saw that the car was just quietly suspended 4 or 5 meters above her head. The crowd in the square was also stunned by this scene. People who didn't know the situation thought it was a special effect made by shooting a movie. In the conference room of Yanlang country, several generals, politicians and a group of scientists were discussing the construction of spacecraft. A secretary of a leader was responsible for pouring tea for them. The tea was extremely fragrant, and people knew it was excellent at a glance. The light blue tea was slowly poured into the precious porcelain teacup, which made people feel relaxed and happy. The general who was being poured tea by the secretary politely replied thank you. But the next second, the tea overflowed from the teacup. I'm sorry. The secretary quickly picked up the tea that had spilled in front of the man and wiped it clean. While wiping, he was secretly cursing himself in his heart. How could he be distracted at such an important moment? The general was indeed thoughtful. He held his chin and thought for a moment, then interrupted the discussion in the conference room. Wait a minute. Because of the abnormality here just now, many people in the conference room had already noticed it. The secretary was also very nervous. He thought that the leader would criticize him in front of so many people. After all, in such an important occasion, he couldn't even do a small thing like pouring water. But what he didn't expect was that the leader did not criticize him, but asked, when you were pouring the water just now, did you feel that time passed quickly? I may have been distracted. When I came to my senses, the tea had already overflowed. I'm so sorry. No. The leader's face was solemn, and then he continued, "This is not your problem. I was looking at the teacup just now. I'm sure that the water in the cup was overflowing in the next second after you poured it. It feels like a few seconds have passed suddenly." A leader next to him who had a good relationship with him pulled his clothes and reminded him, okay, Laoli, what time is it now? Why are you arguing with a child? No, this is not arguing. Do you feel any changes in your body? The leader surnamedly stood up and looked around, asking the many leaders present. A scientist with a head full of silver hair stood up at this time. "General Lee, I think I understand what you mean. According to the Academy of Sciences, research and discoveries on genes, the path of human evolution is not natural and gradual. Instead, it evolves suddenly one after another. The frequency of evolution was most frequent from 1,500 years ago to about 300 years before the Dragon calendar. It was those sudden evolutions that made our human wisdom grow rapidly. According to historical records, humans at that time sometimes stopped what they did at the same time, as if time had stopped. But according to research, after each pause, there will be some more or less changes in humans. Maybe we just experienced it again." The senior executives in the conference room heard the scientist's explanation, and they all looked at their hands and bodies in a daze, feeling whether there were any changes from the past. But among those present, a person who was not good at thinking knocked on the table and said, "Okay, even if we evolve again, what's the point? The research and development and creation of spacecraft is the big deal." But General Lee didn't understand it that way. He narrowed his eyes slightly and said with certainty, "This is enough to show that the god who gave humans evolution, chaos, has appeared." General Lee's full name is Li Shenglang. Legend has it that his ancestor seemed to be a general beside the Dragon Emperor and was deeply trusted by the Dragon Emperor. His ancestors have been passed down to this day, leaving behind a secret book which records an astonishing secret. That is, the god of chaos is not a legend, but a real existence. Moreover, the Dragon Emperor at that time was very likely the incarnation of chaos. Li Shenglang has been studying this secret book since he was a child because the stories in it are so incredible, just like reading a novel that makes people addicted, but most of the stories in it are recorded in history, so he believes in the contents of the secret book. Chapter 50 to the Eternal God. Chaos is nothing but an ancient myth. Do you really believe it? Do you believe that chaos can create the sky, divide the sea, spread fire and identify grain? We must believe in science. Scientific research shows that the universe was naturally created after the big collapse. There is no such thing as a god. I don't understand how a superstitious guy like you got into the team. Instead of wasting time worrying about this, let's discuss the issue of ships. The Eagle Country has been researching it for a long time, and it is said that their research and development speed is very fast. Speaking of the Eagle Country, everyone in the conference room became serious. They were no longer interested in what Chief Lee said and started discussing matters concerning spaceships. The Eagle Country, relying on the fact that an alien spaceship crashed in their area, took the lead in conducting research, but they obstructed our research at every turn. It's despicable. Yes, they also included the newly discovered Dinosaur Island in their territory and declared sovereignty. This alien spaceship and Dinosaur Island are the commonwealth of all mankind. On what basis do they claim them as their own? They rely on the current advanced technology and act like the boss of the planet, but they don't know that our dragon country has the longest history. Alas, who made them so lucky? Not only did the alien spaceship land in their area, but they also claimed sovereignty over Dinosaur Island. Even the recently discovered dwarfs belong to them. Alas. Yes, those dwarves are very likely to be descendants of aliens. Now they have been claimed by the Eagle Country and are still helping them study spacecraft. Let's not talk about this anymore. Work hard, comrades, for the Dragon Country to rise again. We must build the spaceship first, or we can't let our reputation as infrastructure maniacs die. After that, Li Shenglan walked out of the meeting room in a trance. Even though the meeting was over, he was still thinking about chaos. In addition, there was the task assigned to him in the meeting just now, mining ore. The four most powerful countries on this planet are the Dragon Country in the center of the continent, the Eagle Country across the sea in the east, the Bear Country with a vast territory in the north, and the Lion country in the west, which lives by the sea. The 4 major countries have now entered the space race. Whoever can produce the first batch of interstellar spacecraft will be the first to control space and have the right to speak on the stars and planets. In order to build a spacecraft, the superiors gave an order to the organization, represented by Li Liang, to cooperate with the research institute wholeheartedly to search for various sources suitable for use as spacecraft materials. Building a spacecraft is an extremely huge project, and the metal materials required are countless. Li Liang had no objection to this order, and just asked the troops under him to dig pits and mine. You must know that, in order to learn technology over the years, countless Dragon Country scientific and technological personnel have been in the distant Eagle Country, living by the faces of others, eating voraciously every day, and wishing to spend all their time on research and study. The reason is that they want to see more of the crashed UFO of the aliens. Even the daily reports can only be written after the Eagle Country people drive them out of the UFO at night. In the early morning, they have to get up early and wait outside the UFO. At this time, the Eagle Country has not opened up the internal permissions to the outside world. These hard-working scientific researchers can only study the structure of the UFO and the outer structure through the fence. There is no way to let this alien UFO crash into other people's land. It is precisely because of so many dedicated and hard-working scientific researchers that the technological level of Dragon Country has not lagged behind the rest of the world. Now, it is necessary to build a spaceship with countless resources to make their country proud. After Li Liang left the meeting room, a car was waiting for him at the door. This car is old-fashioned, and because of its identity, it is not intelligent driving, but has a dedicated driver to drive. The purpose is to prevent someone from hacking into the car system. After the driver and bodyguard welcomed Li Liang into the car, they rushed to the military airport. They were going to rush back to their home from there. After getting in the car, the secretary waiting in the back seat opened the electronic book and reported the latest news to Li Liang. Brotherly, I have good news. Don't be scared. The secretary came over with a mysterious look on his face, but no matter how he tried to hide it, it was not difficult to see the excitement in his expression. Xiao Song, tell me what's going on. I want to know what kind of news can scare me. Old Li Liang was sitting in the back seat, fastening his seatbelt. After hearing the news, he did not take the electronic book handed over by Secretary Xiao Song. Brotherly, take a look for yourself. Secretary Xiao Song's excitement could no longer be suppressed, and he stuffed the electronic book in his hand into Li Liang's hand. Li Liang had already fastened his seatbelt at this time. After glancing at Secretary Xiao Song, he took the electronic book. Okay, I want to see what news made you behave like this. Li Liang took the electronic book in his hand and then looked at the information in it. But just at this glance, his mood and expression changed. His face changed from calm to quite excited, and then he widened his eyes in shock, as if he had discovered something extraordinary. Superpower. The purpose of this evolution is superpower. The electronic notebook reported that people with superpowers are gradually appearing in the world. Just among Li Liang's subordinates, the number of people who have awakened and have superpowers has reached dozens after a rough and simple calculation. I said that he is back. Look, this evolution is indeed correct. Brother Li. Who is back? Ahem. Nothing. Have you reported this? No one would believe the chaos if he told them, and Li Liang was too lazy to waste his saliva to explain, so he simply didn't say anything. I just reported it, and I just received news before I handed it to you. The higher-ups said that they want to gather the power of awakening among the people and set up a special department. The school should also quietly gather it and then train it specially on our side, so many people below will be managed by their respective leaders to establish a superpower team. Good, great. These people will definitely become our most powerful helpers. Li Liang said 3 times, and his joy was hard to hide. The reason why Li Liang was happy was that this time humans really evolved after the pause. This means that the contents of the secret book passed down by the family are not lies. So, the Chaos God who is said to pass on fire and knowledge, and has the power to split the sky and the sea is still in the world. Maybe someone is his incarnation. After all, the secret book says that the Dragon Emperor is the incarnation of the Chaos God. Li Shenglang's ancestor was a confidant of the Dragon Emperor. He discovered many clues when he served the Dragon Emperor, and they were recorded in a book and passed down from generation to generation. With the records and portrayals of generations, the changes in human beings at a certain time were also recorded by them. Until more than 1,000 years ago, human beings did not change. And now, evolution has begun again. He is back. Chapter 53, A New World. Yes, Lu Liang's avatar returned to human society. He appeared directly in a clothing store and took away a set of clothes that fit him. Lu Liang did not have the currency of modern society, and he did not have identity information. If he were an ordinary person, he would have difficulty moving. Now, he just wanted to experience the changes in human society to the present. Many years have passed, and the human beings who have undergone brain transformation are more intelligent than the previous human beings. Everyone is very smart, and the resistance will not be too great if science and technology develop from this. What's more, there are crashed alien spacecraft for them to study. It can be said that the changes in science and technology research are huge. Although the interior of this flying saucer has been destroyed by Godzilla and the dragon led by Lu Liang, the materials and high-end technology inside are still intact and can be slowly studied by humans to imitate a slightly lower-end copycat version. Just like the advertisements playing on the door of the building in the center of the business district now. Not only are there pictures, but also sounds. Most importantly, technology has brought three-dimensional stereoscopic images, presenting a very real advertisement clip on Lu Liang's head. Lu Liang stopped for a moment, looking at these controversial and unpopular advertisements that the new humans called light pollution with interest, and sighed. I didn't notice that human society has developed so fast. It seems that it is more developed than the Earth I existed on before. Countless new things appeared in Lu Liang's vision. There were driverless cars, private aircraft in the sky, recorders flying with them, convenient conveyor belts on the streets, smart express delivery, unmanned supermarkets, etc. He was new to everything, and then he stood on the conveyor belt and greeted the people passing by in a friendly manner. This conveyor belt is really a good thing, and it is even a blessing for lazy people. Standing on it, you don't even have to walk. It's so comfortable. In today's society, except that technology is slightly more developed than the previous Earth, everything else seems to have brought him back to Earth. As he walked around, Lu Liang was a little dazed and couldn't tell himself for a while. The buildings here are taller than those on Earth, and the overwhelming advertisements in the business district are also more gorgeous and technological than those on Earth. The cars on the ground were fast, but in a safe order. The aircraft and recorders were flying in the sky. These strange and incongruous things kept reminding Lu Liang that he was no longer on Earth, but in this human society that he had created with his own hands and lasted for more than 3 billion years. Then he walked into the supermarket and came to the living area, looking at these new gadgets in front of him. Is this a communication tool that replaces the mobile phone? Lu Liang picked up something as thin as a tempered glass film of the original mobile phone from the display cabinet. According to the introduction, this is the latest communication tool, which can be conveniently attached to the wrist. It not only replaces all the functions on the mobile phone, but also allows you to choose whether to display the three-dimensional image during communication. This communication tool, which is as thin as a tempered glass film, is called the Smart Communication Ring, which was created by Warwick Company. Of course, there are other communication tools, but they just look different, such as the smart glasses of the Rice Company in front of him. They can also achieve the purpose of communication and entertainment, and they are also convenient. The new humans in this world, after Lu Liang's previous eye structures, will no longer have myopia and other conditions. The existence of glasses is for beauty and protection from strong light. The original origin is the windproof glasses of those dragon knights. The communication glasses with a full sense of technology now have many imaging modules inside, which are hidden in the lenses. During communication, the temples of the glasses mounted on the ears will make some sounds, which are easily transmitted to the ears. At the same time, translucent virtual images will appear where the lenses pass through. However, the virtual effects of communication glasses are two-dimensional, which is still different from the three-dimensional images of smart communication rings. However, the privacy service of communication glasses is very good. The sound and image will not be seen by others, but only by the person wearing this pair of glasses. Therefore, the sales of the product are also very good. Lu Liang is not used to wearing glasses, so he finally chose a smart communication ring and attached it to his wrist. Ding, verifying identity. No identity information. Sorry, you can only use basic functions. Lu Liang's identity information has no level in this era, so he cannot use personal devices that require identity information. However, he does not need any communication functions. The browser and watching movies and listening to music in the basic functions are completely sufficient for him. After all, he just wants to get familiar with the current society. It's okay, it's quite convenient. After Lu Liang put the smart bracelet on his wrist, he did not choose to take it off, but continued to walk around the huge mall. He looked at the dazzling array of novel products and felt an indescribable sense of satisfaction. Huh? What is this? After walking a short distance, a strange means of transportation appeared in front of Lu Liang. There happened to be an advertisement next to it, and Lu Liang looked at it attentively. This product is a hoverboard, which was developed by Pineapple Technology Company after 5 years of research on the anti-gravity device of alien flying saucers. It is safe, convenient, and affordable. Welcome to experience it. Pineapple Technology, you deserve it. After watching the advertisement on the hoverboard, Lu Liang became very interested in this skateboard without pulleys. In the precious memories on Earth before, he was a skateboard expert, and he liked skateboards very much. Now seeing such a high-tech skateboard, he must go and experience it. The salesperson, seeing that Lu Liang was very interested in the skateboard, immediately ran over to promote it. Nowadays, it is very rare for humans to do sales in major supermarkets. Human labor is very expensive and is mostly replaced by intelligent machines. However, high-end technology is high-end technology, and there will still be people on duty in unmanned supermarkets. The reason is probably that human beings will feel more friendly when communicating with each other in person, which is different from cold machines, and it will be easier for others to pay for it. Hello, sir, do you want to experience it? This is the latest product developed by Eagle Country Pineapple Company. Lu Liang's love for skateboards is no less than that of LSP's for high C. He nodded impatiently. I want to try it. Okay, sir. Please note that this product has certain dangers. Since there is no guardrail, if it is not operated properly, it may fall and cause injury. Please operate it carefully, sir. The salesperson activated the skateboard for Lu Liang. After activation, the whole body was silver white, quietly suspended at Lu Liang's feet, looking very handsome. Chapter 54. I'm showing my cards. Lu Liang stepped on the hoverboard. He hadn't touched it for so many billions of years, and he even felt very unfamiliar with the feeling under his feet. According to the instructions, he could control the movement and direction of the skateboard by tilting his body forward, backward, left and right. For safety reasons, the height and speed of this skateboard are limited, and it can't be as fancy as ordinary skateboards, but it doesn't affect Lu Liang's love for it at all. This thing is good. I want one, but I don't have money, Lu Liang said to the salesperson very frankly. The salesperson was also very professional, without any excessive expression changes, but smiled. Sir, we support installment service. I don't have a cent. Well, sir, we can also use identity information to buy on credit, such as your credit to Aubrey, etc. Sorry, forget it, I'm sorry. Lu Liang picked up the hoverboard, turned around and ran, leaving the salesperson who was stunned there. There is no one responsible for checkout in the mall, but it is all based on personal conscious payment and face scanning payment. These robots used for face scanning and checkout have already taken shape as intelligent robots. They look like humanoids, but their heads are panels and cameras for face scanning and recognition. Lu Liang ignored these robots responsible for checkout, but openly took his unchecked smart bracelet and hoverboard, and ran out of the checkout area. Beep, beep. At this moment, the mall's alarm sounded. Hello, Customer, China Resources Mall reminds you that you have unchecked goods. Please return to the checkout area to pay. There were still many people in the mall. They looked at Lu Liang, who was about to run out without looking back, and looked at each other in disbelief. Is this guy robbing or stealing? Is there still such a fool now? If he rushes out like this, he will be arrested in less than half an hour. This guy is so stubborn. Half an hour. Technology is so advanced. There are cameras everywhere. There is no blind spot at all. Where can he run? If you ask me, no more than 20 minutes. Lu Liang ran out of the mall, stepped on the newly bought skateboard, and continued to shop leisurely, as if he didn't care about what happened just now. At this moment, a police siren sounded behind him, and not far behind him, a police car was approaching him quickly. This police car was also the same, without wheels, but using the latest technology, suspended in mid-air. After the anti-gravity device was deciphered, the first to be put into use was naturally the military industry of various countries, and a small amount was also invested in police cars responsible for security. The Pineapple Company was the first to use anti-gravity for people's livelihood. As for why they were able to obtain this technology, it was obvious that the Pineapple Company was controlled by the top leaders of the Eagle country, and they would naturally relax a little in order to make a profit. Hello, sir, you were shopping in the mall just now and forgot to check out. I will identify you and verify your identity. Two police officers got out of the car and saluted Lu Liang and said so. Huh? No identity information? One of the police officers scanned Lu Liang's face with a special instrument, and the instrument did not find any information about his identity. Immediately, the police officer's face became serious, and he even took out a pair of handcuffs from his waist. Sorry, I will arrest you now. Please cooperate with the investigation. People without identity information are either illegal residents or smuggled in. Of course, they may also be spies from other countries. So it is inevitable that the police officer will be so nervous. It's really troublesome without identity information. Lu Liang didn't want to be entangled by them, so he had to use the power of the Star Soul to block the two police officers' perception of him. Huh? Where is he? In an instant, even if Lu Liang was standing in front of them, the two police officers could no longer see him. Afterwards, Lu Liang borrowed this ability to taste the king's meal everywhere. Hot pot, barbecue, fried chicken, seafood, beer, drinks, whatever he wanted to taste, he ate it happily. As for those who wanted to play, he didn't let go of any of them. Comfortable. Lu Liang got up from the bed in the 5-star hotel, stretched inside. Of course, he didn't go to the room where someone was after blocking the perception of others. It was not difficult to use his ability to enter the room. Okay, enough fun, time to get down to business. After experiencing the new human society, Lu Liang was ready to get down to business, build a spaceship with humans. The entire planet is his body, so he can naturally sense that several countries are building their own fleets. Lu Liang used the power of the Star Soul to project his consciousness into the minds of the top leaders of various countries. Hello, can you hear me? I'm Chaos. Now you are all building spaceships, and you will need a lot of mineral materials. I have prepared them for you in various areas. Now, devote yourself to building spaceships, and be quick. Just 2 light years away, there are our enemies, the aliens. They invaded our planet 2000 years ago. Now, I want you to quickly build a spaceship, and then go find trouble with the alien planet. If you have any difficulties in construction, you can come to me at any time. I have already marked you. Just call me sincerely in your heart. The top leaders of various countries were all stunned at this time. The voice in their minds actually claimed to be Chaos of the planet. It was the creator god. Nothing could shock them more than now. The scene just now showed that their world had gods. And everything on the planet was created by gods. The ancient legends about chaos were not feudal superstitions, but real. This greatly impacted their atheistic worldview for so many years. Among them, the first to accept this matter was the Lion country, which was closest to the grassland where humans originated. Many high-level members of the Lion country had faith. This planet also had its own religion, and the most famous one was the Chaos God religion. The doctrine was that chaos created this world and gave humans wisdom and a series of civilizations such as fire. The doctrine was also very concise. Chaos said, "Let there be light," and then there was light in the world. The later stories about chaos creating the sky and the sea, creating humans and giving fire were all recorded in the doctrine. Some of the content was true and some was false, but there was no doubt that they were the first to accept the fact that chaos really existed. The high-level officials of the Lion country immediately held a meeting to discuss it. Did you hear the voice in your head? Yes. It's the Chaos God. The Chaos God has given us a revelation. Is there a possibility, that it was the latest person with special abilities playing a prank? Impossible. The current ability of the person with special abilities is only to control gravity. I have never heard of anyone being able to send messages in the mind. If you heard it, then it was definitely not man-made. Chaos God. This is good news for our entire human race. The other countries also held meetings to analyze these suggestions given by Lu Liang. Chapter 55. Countries gathered in the highest conference room of Dragon Country. Everyone, what do you think? The authenticity of the information has been basically confirmed, and other countries have also heard it. The news from the southwest said that an earthquake occurred there, and after the earthquake, several mineral veins were exposed in the mountains, which contain countless metal deposits. The place where Dragon Country built the spacecraft is on the southwest plateau. If the mineral veins appear there, it will be very convenient for them to drive and use it. Several other countries also had earthquakes, and then they found mineral veins like me, and according to the intelligence, the vicinity of the mineral veins is also the place to build spacecraft. Too amazing. If he is really chaos, then is he really a god? Otherwise, how could he know so much about our plan? Well, but it's good. There are mineral veins nearby, and everyone can devote themselves to the construction of the spacecraft. By the way, go and invite General Li Shenglang. A leader remembered what Li Shenglang said at the meeting a while ago, and he didn't expect it to be confirmed now. Chaos is back. Bear Country. What do you think of this? What does this person who calls himself Chaos mean? Maybe he is something like a god or the creator? According to scientific research, human evolution is leapfrogging, and it is difficult to explain the reason with the theory of evolution. There are also many records and studies that ultimately point to the existence of gods. So this god wants to carry out a mission for us? Yes. Quickly build a spaceship and listen to what the god said. The enemy 2 light years away, the alien. Now the people on Lu Liang's planet have indeed developed manned rockets, which can be used for simple activities in the surrounding area. But the farthest distance is only a few planets in the same star system. This distance, for the speed of light, can be traveled in more than 10 minutes. And the alien planet that Lu Liang mentioned is 2 light years away. This distance is beyond the imagination of scientists. With the current scientific and technology of mankind, even if a spaceship is built, it can only reach a speed of 100th of a light year. If it is at this speed, it will take a full 200 years to enter the alien planet. And the average lifespan of humans now is only 100 years. 200 years of time, at least 2 generations will go by. If God really exists, then our Bear Country fighting nation will definitely be the most powerful weapon in the hands of God. Eagle Country. Our research is correct. 1,500 years ago, on our road, many people witnessed God leading giant beasts and dragons to resist the attacking aliens. We have always believed in the existence of God. Now, God is back. We must be the first to build a spaceship. Let God look at us with new eyes. Yes, we must prove that our Eagle Country is the most developed civilization on this planet and the most powerful civilization. The alien spaceship has landed in our land. If we are not the first to build it, we will not only lose face in front of the whole world, but also in front of God. To build a spaceship, the most important thing is to forge a special composite steel. Only that kind of steel can support the huge size of the spaceship and enable it to sail in the universe. To forge this steel, a large amount of minerals are needed to be refined, and the steel yield is also very low. This is a resource problem that all countries are worried about before. They explored geology in many places to find ores, but to build a huge spaceship, the existing ores are far from enough. However, Lu Liang easily helped to solve this headache problem. He used earthquakes to directly send the ores hidden in the mountains that were difficult to explore and collect to the surface. This behavior was equivalent to directly sending these resources to humans. So, the biggest resource problem has been solved, and other technical problems will be solved slowly. During this period, Lu Liang was almost annoyed by the representatives sent by various countries. If he didn't want to make a spacecraft, he really wanted to eliminate all the communication marks in his mind. These representatives kept asking Lu Liang all kinds of questions, but as long as it was related to building a spacecraft, Lu Liang would try his best to satisfy them. Anyway, the major countries on the planet were all established by themselves, using the same language and writing. They are all the inheritance of their own culture and the continuation of the Earth's civilization in the previous life. Even though his information was blank, he was still discovered in front of the powerful state machine. In many communications with people, it is inevitable to say more other information, and the huge state machine used image tracking to find Lu Liang. Of course, Lu Liang revealed this intentionally, because he was waiting for human civilization to find him. The first civilization to find him was naturally the people of his native dragon country. The person stood respectfully in front of Lu Liang's door and knocked politely. "Excuse me, is anyone there? Who is it?" Lu Liang opened the door, while wearing a bathrobe and eating fruit. He had just hung up a call from a representative of another country, and that person actually asked Lu Liang to grant him eternal life. There is no doubt that the result was that he was scolded by Lu Liang. Looking at the handsome face that looks like the reader's, he then said respectfully, "Hello, sir. Our dragon country invites you." Lu Liang looked at the investigator in front of him and knew very well that these people found him just to win him over and get more things for their country. But he is the star soul of this planet, not the star soul of any country. You go back and tell your leader to gather all the countries together, and then I will go. Lu Liang was too lazy to run one by one. It would be the best time for him to show up when all these countries gathered together. Running away one by one. Do you still want to be a B-level star soul? In the United Building, the leaders of several major countries all gathered here. In addition to these major countries, there are also some branch small countries. They gathered together to establish a joint conference, the purpose of which is to regulate the interests and conflicts on the planet. And today, they gathered together for a more important thing. This matter concerns their planet, and even the understanding and cognition of all human beings. These people sat honestly in the audience, waiting for the protagonist of this meeting to appear, but at the same time they were whispering and talking about it. Some people in small countries have never heard of Lu Liang's voice transmission, and they are skeptical about it. And several major countries are sitting in the first row, waiting quietly. Finally, the agreed time came, and many people held their breath and looked at the door. And Lu Liang came to the lounge of the United Conference on time. Here, there are clothes carefully prepared for him by the United Conference. Finally, Lu Liang pushed the door and stepped in, and countless cameras were aimed at him at this moment. Chapter 56 Woohoo takes off. The live broadcast in the joint conference was broadcast to everyone's communication equipment. At the same time, all humans knew that there really were gods on the planet they were on, and the man in front of them was their god of creation, chaos. Lu Liang easily used his star soul power in the joint conference to shut up all the other questioning voices. As the only star soul on this planet, he must take control of the civilization and authority on the planet at the beginning of civilization, to prevent them from having second thoughts in the future. And because of some things, he missed a good opportunity. Now human civilization has developed for thousands of years without him. This time span is not long or short, but it has led to many people being scholars without faith and atheism in this world. Suddenly telling these people that there are gods on this land and planet under their feet is obviously difficult to accept at the first time. But fortunately, it is not too late now. The star soul power he showed is really no different from gods in front of these humans. In the final analysis, these humans are all Lu Liang's creations, and it is not difficult to control them. Lu Liang's appearance was to tell these countries to build spaceships as soon as possible. These countries already had such a plan, and with Lu Liang's support and encouragement, they dared not be careless. But in order to build a spaceship completely, there are several projects that cannot be avoided. The first is the skeleton and shell of the spaceship. The strongest synthetic steel must be used here. The mineral veins that Lu Liang had previously sent to the surface through earthquakes just came in handy at this time. Pieces of steel were welded to the outside of the dragon frame of the spaceship, and the prototype of the exterior was simply manufactured. Each spaceship is at least tens of thousands of meters long, and the mineral materials used are countless. If it weren't for Lu Liang's help, these countries would have spent at least decades just for mineral materials. Secondly, it is the energy core of the spaceship. The energy core is the energy source that the entire spaceship relies on to navigate in the universe. Rockets that used to barely navigate in the galaxy used one-time combustion energy, but if a spaceship uses it, it must be a continuous and powerful core. With the help of Lu Liang, the researchers found inspiration from the lava dragon. They researched and built an energy core similar to the dragon's heart. This core can store a lot of energy. The source of this core energy is the technology of controlled nuclear fusion. This technology had not been developed on the Earth where Lu Liang lived before, but this world already has enough technical support. The researchers put the controlled nuclear fusion into the energy storage device that simulated the heart of the lava dragon, which completed the construction of the energy core. Next, it is the simulated gravity technology in the spacecraft. This technology is indispensable for people to move freely in the spacecraft. This technology was studied from alien flying saucers. The anti-gravity devices in those small individual flying saucers were studied by humans, and then similar things were simulated and produced, successfully creating a gravity stand. The largest anti-gravity device of the spacecraft was obtained by the nearby Eagle country. In addition, there is the hibernation chamber. This device is crucial when it takes a long time to sail. If there were no hibernation chamber, I'm afraid that humans would have died of old age before they had sailed far. As a spacecraft that takes at least hundreds of years to sail, the hibernation chamber is very important. With the help of Lu Liang, the biological departments of various countries have also prepared nutrient solutions and cooperated with the staff of other departments to overcome the difficulty of the hibernation chamber. Even with the help of Lu Liang, these people have improved the gene sequences of many edible plants so that these plants can survive in the spacecraft. Of course, there are countless technologies. Photosynthesis, water irrigation, greenhouses, etc. are all crucial technologies. If this is solved, the problem of people eating in the spacecraft will be solved in the future. There are also some technologies, such as electromagnetic weapons, stellar light absorption panels, the use of intelligent machines, navigation of interstellar star maps, electromagnetic exploration, etc. These difficult technologies have been conquered and built by scientific researchers one by one as time goes by. These are the technologies that must be used to build spacecraft, and they have all been mastered by personnel from various countries. Now several major countries have started a construction competition, and they all want to be the first to build it, so that they can take credit in front of Lu Liang. Of course, these countries also have some selfish motives. For example, Dragon country's research on energy cores is more advanced than other countries, and its energy output and storage are superior to other countries' current technologies. Eagle country has the largest anti-gravity device. There is no doubt that this country is second to none in gravity technology. As for Bear country, its research on hibernation chambers and various attack weapons is very advanced. Finally, there is the intelligent machinery of Lion country. These countries can be said to have their own responsibilities and their own advantages. The spacecrafts they built also have their own strengths. These countries are desperately building spacecrafts, and they all want to build them as soon as possible to seize the initiative. At this time, Dragon country has the strongest desire to build spacecrafts. They are worthy of the title of infrastructure maniacs. Countless workers and researchers are busy day and night. In addition to eating and sleeping, everyone is working hard all the time, and sometimes some people faint from exhaustion at their jobs. Dragon country's engineers and grassroots workers are also very hard working. The steel making furnaces are running all day long, and one piece of solid steel after another is transported to the construction base of the spacecraft. The keel of the spacecraft was completed first, followed by the construction of the various cabins inside. Subsequently, the bridge control center, weapons depot, plant cultivation room, room with hibernation chamber, material depot, and even entertainment room and other areas with different functions were built. Finally, it was the loading shell, equipped with powerful weapons and sophisticated instruments. While other countries were still building the keel shape, the most hard-working Dragon country had spent 10 years to build 3 space battleships. The first to complete was Dragon Country, and on the day of the spacecraft trial, the news was fully announced. As soon as the news came out, people on the entire planet were shocked. In the virtual image, the beautiful host excitedly looked at the sky behind her, where a huge space battleship was suspended. As the battleship took off, the huge battleship, like a city, slowly flew out of the sky and finally disappeared in the camera. Dear audience friends, our Dragon country is the first country to build a spaceship. Our country's spaceship has successfully taken off today, and at this moment, this is a small step in the sky, but it is a big step for us humans. We, the people of the world, are about to usher in a new era of exploring the universe. Chapter 57, Reorganization and Departure. As expected of a country with the longest history, their construction speed is really amazing. Some were happy and some were worried. The boss of Bear Country sighed as he looked at the live broadcast and the report in his hand. Alas, our research was based on Eagle Country as the imaginary enemy, but I didn't expect that Dragon Country would be the first to complete the construction. This time, Dragon Country has been in the limelight in front of Lord Xinghan. The boss of Eagle Country really slammed the table in front of him angrily and scolded his subordinates. What on earth do you do for a living? There are alien UFOs for us to study. Why did Dragon Country take the lead? Your progress is really too slow. Tell me, are you a bunch of idiots? The people of Dragon Country were waiting in front of various live broadcast equipment, one by one, and they were all excited to watch their country's space battleships fly into space. Some young people were even so happy that they danced with joy. On this day, whether it was bars or other entertainment venues everywhere, business was unprecedentedly good. It seemed that many people were happy for their motherland. Haha. I knew that our Dragon people are the most hardworking and smartest. We are the first to fly into space. Just think about the faces of those foreigners, and I feel great. A group of young people, shirtless, were eating barbecue and drinking beer on the small street of the night market. It's really great. Isn't the Eagle Country known as the world hegemon? What about their spacecraft? They won't wait until our motherland has made some achievements in the universe before launching into space, right? Ah. Comfortable. It feels so good to be proud of it, boss. Another box of beer. Brothers, drink as much as you want. I'm the boss today. For this joy, I'll give you a 50% discount for all the items. The happiest person is Lu Liang, who has been looking forward to this day. Watching the human space battleship fly into space, he was also sincerely happy. Finally, we have the power to attack other planets. There will never be such a passive day of being beaten again. So, alien planets, it's time for revenge. Lu Liang narrowed his eyes slightly, and he decided that the first stop in the universe would be to avenge the invasion of aliens thousands of years ago. On this day, Lu Liang's voice reached the minds of the top leaders of Dragon Country. The general idea is to requisition these space battleships. The high-level meeting lasted for a long time, but the final discussion result was not unexpected. Dragon Country fully supports the decision of Lord Starsoul Chaos. Immediately, each of these 3 space battleships with a length of more than 10,000 meters can carry hundreds of thousands of troops. At the same time, a giant machine was installed at the bottom of the main ship according to Lu Liang's request. Lu Liang used the power of Starsoul to guide 5,000 lava dragons and 100 overlord Godzillas to enter these space battleships together. Seeing these monsters appear, the soldiers in the ship inevitably became nervous for a while. Although they have seen these monsters, lava dragons and Godzilla basically live in places where humans are not suitable for living. Moreover, from ancient times to the present, these monsters and humans have always kept their distance. At this time, these monsters appeared in groups of Jeton. If the soldiers had not received orders long ago, they would definitely attack them at the first time. But even if they were mentally prepared, anyone would be nervous when seeing these monsters at such a close distance. This Godzilla is now more than 80 meters tall and looks extremely scary. The same is true for the dragon. Its metallic skin occasionally gleams with luster, and its huge head still brings some pressure to humans when observed from a close distance. The troops were quickly assembled, and Li Shenglan conducted pre-war mobilization for all 300,000 soldiers in the base. Soldiers of Dragon Country, you are all volunteers who volunteered to participate in this operation after being informed. Our Dragon Country has such pillars of talent like you. God bless Dragon Country. As the commander-in-chief of this operation, I pay my highest respects to you. In this operation, we will be the first batch of interstellar warriors of space battleships. Go to the alien planet to perform the mission. I don't know what aliens look like, but since they dare to threaten our planet, we will definitely follow the footsteps of the God of Chaos and go on an expedition with the gods to annihilate them all. In this great expedition, we will sail 2 light years away. The distance is so far that it will take more than 400 years to go back and forth. Once triggered, we may never see our loved ones again, and for our family and friends, we will say goodbye to them forever this time. Even so, are you willing to participate in this mission? Li Shenglan's voice was full of various emotions, including excitement, nostalgia, longing, and even reluctance. But there was no regret. The 300,000 soldiers below did not disappoint either. Their response was shocking. We are willing. The shouting of hundreds of thousands of words made the already emotional Li Shenglan even more excited. Okay, now, let's get on board. Under the gaze of everyone on Chaos Star, the 3 huge space battleships slowly lifted off and leaped into the unreachable and daunting space. As the battleships left the camera and people's vision, all kinds of people in the world appeared. Some people were in tears because the spaceship was carrying their relatives who they would never see again in their lives. Some people were respectful, and the 300,000 Dragon Country soldiers were all great. Some people were dissatisfied with the speed of their motherland's construction, and dissatisfied that their motherland was not the first to step into the starry sky. The space battleship gradually left the orbit of Chaos Star, but the green Chaos Star behind it was getting smaller and smaller. This feeling. Lu Liang lay by the window, watching the Chaos Star gradually moving away and getting smaller, and he had a wonderful feeling. To be honest, this was the first time that Lu Liang saw where he was in his complete appearance. Billions of years ago, this planet was still so desolate, but now the world has changed so much. God of Chaos, we have to speed up. Please return to the hibernation chamber. Li Shenglan came to Lu Liang's side, saluted respectfully, and then said. Lu Liang shook his head. He did not need to enter the hibernation chamber to maintain his life, and as the star soul of a planet, his ability to endure loneliness was also very strong. Only 200 years, for Lu Liang's long life, it was just a blink of an eye. No, thank you for your support. I will do my best to bring people back to the mother planet safely. Lu Liang was very grateful to the soldiers, who were willing to follow him on the great expedition. After leaving his own planet, the power of the Star Soul will be greatly restricted, and all he can do is to transform into a giant dragon or Godzilla. He once relied on the power of heaven and earth on the planet, but after leaving the planet, only 1 in 10 survived. If the trip to the alien planet 2 light years away fails, it will only be the death of the incarnation, and his consciousness can still return to the core of the mother star in an instant. It can be said that there will be no loss at all. But with these soldiers, who went on the expedition and the space battleships that he spent a lot of effort to build, they will stay on the alien planet forever. Of course, Lu Liang will not allow such a thing to happen. In order to ensure the safety of this operation, he also brought 100 Godzillas and 5,000 lava dragons. The overall strength of these creatures is even more than that of thousands of years ago, and is much stronger than before. He, Lu Liang, will not forget the suffering of the creatures on his planet thousands of years ago. Therefore, his first stop is to seek revenge on the aliens. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 58 New Discovery. The universe is lonely. After flying out of the star system, there is nothing in the empty universe outside. Only the stars in the distance are twinkling. Most of the soldiers in the spacecraft have also entered the hibernation chamber to sleep. Here, they will sleep for 200 years until they reach the alien planet. The 3 space battleships maintained communication and distance, set the course, and after leaving the star system, the speed gradually increased to 1% of the speed of light. It seemed like a lifetime ago. In just less than 2000 years, Lu Liang's planet jumped from the tribal era into space. If all this did not happen in reality, it would be like a dream. Lu Liang does not need to hibernate, and his body will not age. He stood in the command center of the bridge of the space battleship and chatted with a few soldiers on duty. He told these soldiers how he had broken into the alien's nest, how he beat up the alien star soul, and how the alien star soul exposed his coordinates later, and then attracted other star souls to attack him. The few soldiers who stayed behind seemed to be listening to a book from heaven. They could not only feel the ups and downs of the time, but also felt cold sweat for Lu Liang when they heard the exciting parts. All humans knew about the crashed flying saucer of Eagle Country, but they never knew that it was Lu Liang, the star soul on their planet, who withstood the attack from Mars with only the creatures of his own planet, and even made the flying saucer stay forever on Chaos Star. Then, looking at the place where Godzilla and the giant dragon stayed in the surveillance, they were shocked. In recent years, giant dragons often appear in the mountains. Although they are not well known, they are more or less known. But those monsters Godzilla, to be honest, this is the first time the soldiers have seen them. After all, most of Godzilla's living areas are in volcanoes, and it is normal that they are unknown. Therefore, humans don't know much about Godzilla. When they met it before, they thought it was the same as the dinosaurs on Dinosaur Island, with only rough skin and brute strength. Lu Liang chatted with these soldiers, which was a good way to kill time during this period of time. Whenever he had time, he would look at the life detection instrument and try to find a planet with life in the star system he passed by. This planet. Hey, Lu Liang really found a bit of an unusual image. The life detection instrument marked a red mark on a planet, which means that there is a strong biological fluctuation there. The life detection instrument was developed by Lu Liang and many scientific research experts. The distance is to detect the genetic material in the planet to determine whether there is a life form. The core technology of the life detection instrument comes from Lu Liang's system, the gene analyzer in the genetic laboratory. Lu Liang asked these researchers to imitate the structure of the gene analyzer, to imitate a gene detection instrument. Since it is an imitation, the function is naturally a castrated version, the analysis function is castrated, and only the detection function is used. Now this life detection instrument shows that a planet not far from Lu Liang, codenamed A8Z3, has extremely strong genetic material. Strange. Didn't they say there were strong biological fluctuations? Why is there nothing? Lu Liang enlarged the image on the gene detection instrument and looked through the A8Z3 planet completely, but he did not find any trace of life on the surface of the planet. Could it be underground life? Lu Liang's mind moved. If it is really underground life, then they are closer to the core of the star and are more likely to be stronger than ordinary creatures. If they are used to fuse genes, maybe some high-level gene fragments will appear. Then he came to the window and looked in the direction of the planet in the universe. With his current human vision, of course, he could not observe the planet. However, the advantage of human wisdom was reflected, the rational use of tools. He relied on the information transmitted by the astronomical telescope for observation. It is not clear why, when Lu Liang carefully observed the planet, he actually felt some palpitations. It was as if an invisible sense of oppression came to Lu Liang. Lu Liang turned his body to other places, and this weak feeling disappeared without a trace. It's not an illusion. What on earth is on that planet? Lu Liang just had the thought of retreating, and even fear in his heart. Since he was reincarnated as a star soul, he hasn't felt this kind of fear for a long time. Send all the video data back to the mother planet and let the scientists study it. Lu Liang turned around and said to the soldier on duty, who was responsible for contacting the mother planet, "This planet is not far from Chaos Star. It has only been sailing for about 10 years. If you really want to calculate it carefully, this planet is probably only 1/10 of a light year away from Chaos Star. With the passage of time and retirement, humans on Chaos Star were born and died. The old generation of humans gradually left, and a new generation of young people came on the scene. With the leap of time, people have become accustomed to the 3 spaceships that once flew out, and slowly, the discussion has become smaller. Other countries have also built spaceships in so many years. They have not received orders to explore, so they have to move around the planets in the star system and collect precious resources from other planets. It's not that they can't go on a long voyage. The main reason is that there are so many planets around Chaos Star that they can explore in a short time. Only Dragon Country is still in contact with the 3 warships in the starry sky all the time and studying the valuable information conveyed back. Human technology is still developing rapidly, and high-end technology is also being updated and iterated. Many technologies that are limited by the times have been abandoned by the times, and more outstanding technologies are emerging in an endless stream. Time passed again, and the 3 warships in the universe finally flew to the star system, where the alien planet is located. The life detection instrument, at the moment of entering the galaxy, was full of messages with biological fluctuations. But Lu Liang didn't care. His target was only the mother planet of the alien planet, and other planets didn't need to be paid attention to for the time being. Slowly, they gradually approached their destination. The light green planet in front of them was obviously the target of Lu Liang's group, the Raelian planet with Star Soul. The alien planet is a light green planet. On this planet, in addition to aliens, there are also some plants and herbivorous creatures. It seems that there are not only simple aliens. For organisms to survive for a long time, an ecosystem is essential, so it is rare that the alien planet will open up an area for these herbivorous organisms. For a huge planet, 3 warships are like 3 insignificant dots. 3 10,000-meter class warships hovered above the alien planet, as if they were carefully observing the planet. The hibernation chamber has been fully opened, and the soldiers who have awakened from hibernation are exercising to restore their physical strength. Chapter 59 Battle Plan. General Li Shenglang also woke up from the hibernation chamber. His body seemed to be thinner than before. This is the side effect of the hibernation chamber. The hibernation chamber does not completely freeze people, but maintains the lowest metabolic capacity of humans. Just like cold-blooded animals in the cold winter, even with the maintenance of nutrient solution, these soldiers need to wake up once every 10 years or so, eat some supplies and exercise, to maintain their body functions. Lord Chaos, are we there? Yes, this is the alien star. A huge 3-dimensional image of the surface of the alien star was projected on the bridge command center. Zooming in again, you can even clearly see the ferocious alien, pounced from the green plants, and directly pounced behind a herbivore as big as a cow. Then the alien's powerful tongue popped out and instantly smashed the herbivore's head, killing it on the spot. Is this the alien that Lord Chaos mentioned? Yes. Okay. Then are we going to go down and wipe them out now? Looking at the numerous aliens on the planet, Li Shenglang's scalp was numb, but he was still clear of his duties. No need for now. Wait for all the generals to gather. I will arrange a battle plan for you. With such a big move, the alien Star Soul certainly noticed Lu Liang. Chaos? I didn't expect you to come to me so soon, and successfully found my mother nest. Lu Liang sneered. Are you surprised? Wipe your neck clean, and wait for me to devour you. The excited scientific researchers in the spacecraft frantically collected all the information about the aliens. Then sorted out this information and send it back to the mother planet 2 light years away. This is a serious alien life. For these guys who are engaged in scientific research, what can be more exciting than the appearance of living aliens in front of them? Although Lord Chaos has long said that there are countless life planets in this universe, and each has a different life form. But after seeing alien life with their own eyes, the excitement and joy were really hard to suppress. In the bridge command center, Lu Liang and several generals sat here. The huge virtual image in front of them reflected the generals of the other 2 spaceships. The senior leaders of the 3 space battleships gathered together in this way and listened to Lu Liang's plan for them. Lu Liang's plan was very simple. Generals, let me briefly tell you about the plan against the alien planet. At the bottom of the Titan spacecraft, according to my requirements, the engineers built and set up a huge planetary drill. When we attack the alien planet, Titan needs to land and place the drill on the ground of the alien planet to start working. The other tasks are very simple, that is, when the drill is working, it must be protected and not allowed to be approached by any life form. As for whether the Galaxy and Titan will land, and the arrangement of defense forces, these are up to you to discuss and implement. The plan is that simple, do you understand? Li Shenglong stood up first, and saluted Lu Liang, and then responded loudly, understood. We will complete the task. Now let me arrange the defense tasks. After the battleship enters the planet's attack range, first use the energy cannon mounted under the spacecraft to clear out the aliens on the ground. Then wait until the planetary drill of the Titan is installed and starts operating. The 3 spacecraft will form a triangle and surround the drill in the center. We will divide into 3 directions to defend against it. Have the surface environment of the alien planet been detected? Li Shenglong arranged the tasks, then turned around and asked a researcher behind him. The researcher who was asked immediately stood up and responded, report. After monitoring, the air environment of the alien planet is roughly similar to that of the mother planet and can be breathed directly. But time is tight, and the impact of the alien planet's microorganisms on the body has not yet been determined. It is recommended that soldiers land with oxygen masks. Li Shenglong nodded expressionlessly. Okay, then let's arrange defensive fortifications on the surface at the same time. Cooperate with the skylight tanks, and the 3 sides of the triangle will form a linear defense. 30,000 people will land on each ship to fight, and 20,000 will be left on the ship for fire support. The remaining soldiers will be on standby, ready to take over their comrades at any time. Soldiers, this is the first time we have fought against alien creatures, and the previous simulation exercises were very good. I hope that in actual combat, you will also be able to exert your full strength. For this kind of primitive creature, that can only fight in close combat, has no air threat, and does not even have long-range firepower, it will be a crushing battle for us to deal with it. Everyone, do you have confidence? Yes. Although there were not many people in the bridge command center, the same deafening roar resounded here. Okay. Everyone check your weapons and equipment, and prepare to land. Li Shenglong, the commander-in-chief of the Dragon Country's representative, issued all the orders in an orderly manner. With a wave of his hand, all the generals took the orders to convey them to their troops. Lu Liang listened to Li Shenglong's battle plan and nodded frequently. However, he still added something. General Li, my monster army will also participate in the battle and provide support. These giant dragons and Godzillas he brought personally were prepared to prevent accidents when humans fight. To be honest, after his evolution using the system, humans have reached the level of ordinary aliens more than 1,000 years ago in terms of physical fitness. Now they are equipped with guns and other equipment, and the space battleships are also loaded with weapons that can destroy the world. It is not too easy to deal with these alien creatures that can only fight with their bodies. Most of the planets that have been devoured by alien star souls were invaded because of carelessness and then destroyed by the occupied ecosystem. Now his army is facing them head on. I'm not bragging. These aliens are really as fragile as paper. Although there are countless aliens on this planet, it is not necessary to kill them all in an invasion. Just hold on to an area, wait for the planetary drill to drill through the crust and mantle, enter its core directly, and devour the alien star soul. Lu Liang firmly believes that the power of his star soul is much stronger than the primitive star soul of this alien without civilization. After a long time, Galaxy, Titan, this is the giant god. Are you ready? Can you land at the same time? Galaxy is ready, you can land. Titan is ready, you can land. Okay. The countdown is about to be 30 seconds, and the 3 ships are ready to enter the atmosphere at the same time. After 30 seconds, the 3 space battleships started the thrusters at the same time, approaching the alien star little by little. The 3 huge spaceships pressed into the atmosphere at the same time, and the friction with the atmosphere caused the external temperature of the spaceships to increase sharply. Chapter 60 The war is coming. The strong air currents began to disrupt the warship's routes, and a huge thundercloud storm also gathered in the atmosphere, with countless lightning jumping in the thunderclouds. This is the welcome ceremony of the alien star soul. The moment he saw Lu Liang coming, he was ready. He wanted to use the power of the entire planet to deal with Lu Liang's 3 space battleships. Feeling these powers, Lu Liang sneered. Now he wants to treat others in their own way. Remember what you did thousands of years ago. Now it's my turn to interfere with you. Lu Liang could not feel the original power of the planet on other planets, but this did not prevent him from using the power of the Star Soul itself to interfere with the other party. The power of the Star Soul spread like a huge protective net, covering the 3 battleships. The coverage area is a radius of 10 kilometers. Fortunately, there are not many spaceships brought, otherwise it may not be covered. So wide. Chaos. Your Star Soul power is too strong. The alien Star Soul roared in disbelief. His alien form had devoured 2 Star Souls before. When he arrived at the Chaos territory, to interfere with the shielding of the Star Soul power, he could only shield a distance of 2 kilometers in radius. But the Chaos Star Soul's shielding territory was so much higher than his. In other words, if the Star Soul's original power was compared, the other party was nearly 10 times stronger than himself. This was impossible. The range of the Star Soul shielding refers to a range with the Star Soul as the center of the circle. The height is not included, and the countless distances above and below the Star Soul's head are all included. This is because the Star Soul power is emitted from the star core of the planet, and the Star Soul shielding naturally interferes from the source. So this circle with a radius of 10 kilometers refers to the area from the underground star core to the atmosphere above the head. If it is visible to the naked eye, it is a long and thin cylinder. Where Lu Liang shielded, the surrounding thunderclouds, storms and lightning all dissipated, and then turned into a gentle wind. The alien Star Soul can no longer play tricks. Damn it. Chaos, I want to see how many monsters you brought. Don't forget that there are countless alien armies on my planet. The angry alien Star Soul kept roaring, but Lu Liang shook his head and ignored it. The 3 spaceships were about to land, and this alien Star Soul would not be able to jump for much longer. Soon, I will go to his star core and devour it myself. This is the result of exposing your star map coordinates. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Land immediately. Increase the output power of the anti-thruster. Slow down, slow down. Okay. Maintain the output power of the thrusters and anti-thrusters. Fly in the air 100 meters above the ground and find a suitable landing point. Use sonic reconnaissance to find a solid ground to prevent the ground from collapsing after landing. Report. There are countless pits in the land below. Just like an ant's nest, it is full of life fluctuations. Then bypass this place and continue searching. Report. A flat ground is found ahead, and the geology is also very hard. It is recommended to land there. Report to the general. No. The geology is very hard because it is composed of rocks. The rocky terrain is not convenient for the installation of the planetary drill. Please find a slightly softer ground. Li Shenglan was overwhelmed. The landing ground environment cannot be too soft because there may be alien ambushes or nests there. But it cannot be too hard, otherwise the geology will win the initial working efficiency of the planetary drill, which will be greatly reduced. Keep looking. After a moment. Report to the general. Suitable terrain has been found ahead, requesting landing. According to this detection, a flat area appeared ahead. After sonic and biological detection, no risk of life fluctuations or ground collapse was found. Good. Clear the aliens and prepare for landing. The giant cannon and large caliber machine guns carried by the Titan sounded at the same time at this moment. Countless flames smashed all the aliens in the woods below the battleship. These alien creatures are just agile predators after all, but no matter how fast they are, can they be faster than shells and bullets? In this era, the power of human thermal weapons can be said to be extremely fierce. Large caliber machine gun bullets are more powerful than what Lu Liang had seen before crossing. These bullets hit the alien's body, and only a few rounds are needed to beat the alien to no life signs. Continue. Fire suppression. Fighting on someone else's territory requires a quick battle. Under the 3 space battleships, flames kept spraying, and soon a clean area was cleared. Very good. Titan, prepare to place the planetary drill. Galaxy and Titan, continue to suppress the action of intercepting the aliens with firepower. Titan landed slowly, and the huge device below it, the planetary drill, slowly approached the land. The planetary drill is a secret weapon that Lu Liang asked engineers to develop against the Star Soul. This device is very large, with a diameter of an astonishing 500 meters. The drill bit of this device is made of the same alloy material as the outer shell of the space battleship, and its durability and wear resistance are second to none. After the invention and research of engineers, they adopted a separate structure. When the outermost drill bit is worn to a certain extent, it will break away, and then a new drill bit that is slightly smaller will appear and continue to work. This thing, like a nesting doll, keeps working, even if the drill bit is broken. According to the calculations of those engineers, the loss of this drill bit is expected to be no more than half, and it can drill through the crust and mantle to reach the position of the core of the star. Even if it encounters hard rock, there is still a lot of room. Otherwise, there would be no need to build it so huge. The battleship slowly flew to the ground. In order to prevent accidents, the pilots of the battleship all used intelligent control to make the planetary drill and the battleship land more smoothly as possible. Boom. The deafening sound was transmitted to the outside world. The planetary drill finally successfully landed on the land of the alien planet. The planetary drill has been successfully detached, and it is ready to be built immediately. Quick. Battleship landing. Protect the planetary drill according to the plan. The 3 battleships also slowly flew to their own positions in the simulation exercise. Boom boom boom, there was another loud noise between heaven and earth. These 3 huge space battleships are all 10,000 meters long. Even if they land slowly, they can still produce huge noise and vibration. Their landing brackets are of course used, but the overall weight of the spacecraft is very amazing. When the mission was just completed, the landing brackets were scrapped because they could not support the weight. The battleship has successfully landed, and those brackets are just for shock absorption. It can be regarded as nothing. The hatch opened, and countless soldiers ran out in an orderly manner from the station supervisor. They had to run out of the warship as soon as possible, and then set up artillery and arrange fortifications according to the plan. Chapter 61. Impotent Rage. Thousands of skylight tanks also drove out of the warships, and the huge missiles were all pointed at the distance. Boom, after a loud bang, a powerful shell was fired from the muzzle, blowing dozens of aliens in the distance to pieces. Hundreds of armed helicopters carrying air-to-ground missiles also slowly flew out of the warships, and then hung high in the sky to provide fire support for their comrades. On the other side of the warship, engineers and scientific researchers also rushed out of the warships. They wore light protective clothing and were speeding up their pace to the location of the planetary driller. They assembled and activated the planetary driller with great skill and controlled it to carry out excavation work. Buzz buzz buzz. The sound of mechanical operation sounded, and the driller successfully started working. Those who were closer seemed to feel that the ground was shaking. Seeing that the chaotic warship did not continue to fire in the air, but landed on the ground arrogantly, the alien Star Soul also showed a cruel smile. How dare you land? Chaos, you are really not afraid of death. The firepower of Chaos's space battleships is indeed powerful, but there are 80 billion aliens under his command on this planet. He doesn't believe that Chaos can kill all the aliens. There will always be a time to get close to the battleships and the planetary driller. By that time, everything will have settled. Lu Liang stood on the top of the landed battleship and looked coldly into the distance. There, countless alien armies are gathering, and it seems that they will swarm here soon. In the caves and jungles, there are aliens running out everywhere. Lu Liang looked into the distance, and there was a line of sight looking at him. Yes, that is where the alien Star Soul incarnation is. Even though the distance is so far, Lu Liang's strong eyesight allows him to observe that the cruel eyes and vicious breath of the aliens are exactly the same as 2000 years ago. The alien queen, incarnated by the alien Star Soul, was stronger and bigger than the one seen before. It looked like she was 30 meters tall. Every move was filled with violent power. Under its feet, countless aliens were on all fours, rushing towards Lu Liang's military deployment. It was like an invasion by thousands of cavalry, causing the entire ground to tremble slightly. Alien, you have a biggest weakness. Lu Liang stood on the top of the battleship and looked down at the alien Star Soul in the distance. The alien Star Soul, who was looking at it from a distance, was puzzled and was about to ask a question when he heard Lu Liang's supplement. Your creatures are too simple, only aliens, and they are only good at jungle assassination operations. But in this situation, on the plains, facing high-tech firepower suppression head-on, you can only use their lives to pile up. Look at yourself, you don't even have flying creatures. You have no solution to deal with their units. You can only let your life form be slaughtered. Lu Liang shook his head slowly, as if he felt sorry for the alien Star Soul. The alien Star Soul was looked down upon by Lu Liang, and the killing intent in his eyes became more and more vigorous. He was really angry. Kill it. The alien Star Soul was not only annoyed but also embarrassed. He did not respond, but roared and commanded the aliens to surround and kill from all directions. The endless alien army was like a tide, surging in waves, fearlessly and constantly charging forward. Their underdeveloped brains made them face the current battle situation without fear, and even without fear of death. They are like worker ants, controlled by their queen, and everything they do is to serve the queen. For them, the queen's orders are above everything else. Li Shenglan was in the command center in the battleship bridge. Through modern images, he saw countless aliens coming like seawater, and shouted loudly, "They are coming. Fire! Fire with all your strength!" On the battlefield, the outermost soldiers set up their guns one after another, and countless bullets attacked the alien army that was rushing in. The sound of artillery fire from the skylight tanks also continued to sound, exploding one after another bright red flames in the alien army. The missiles and machine guns of the armed helicopters fired at the same time, pouring firepower on the aliens under the land. Lu Liang was very satisfied with the development of the battlefield. After appreciating it, he shook his head contemptuously at the alien Star Soul in the distance. "You are too weak." After speaking, Lu Liang jumped high, and then his body emitted a strong white light. The next moment, he had successfully landed, and turned into a Godzilla with a height of 80 meters. "Alien, I have something to say to you intact. You, incarnate once, I will kill you once." Raw, light-containing powerful energy gushed out from the mouth of Godzilla, who was incarnated by Lu Liang. The speed of this force was very fast. In a flash, it reached several kilometers away. The next second, the alien queen incarnated by the alien Star Soul, the 30-meter tall alien queen, evaporated instantly. How could it be? The alien Star Soul was unbelievable. He really couldn't understand why the civilization and technology of Chaos Star developed so rapidly in just over 2000 years. The most important thing is that in 2000 years, the creatures on Chaos Star are much stronger than before. More than 2000 years ago, the aliens came to Chaos Star with alien spacecraft and parasitized countless humans. Almost half of the prairie, where primitive people were born, were parasitized by alien creatures, and even later they had their own place, allowing the aliens to develop hundreds of thousands of troops. Even so, he was defeated by the energy creatures on Chaos Star. But now, only 2000 years have passed. The primitive civilization that was slaughtered by the aliens at will has not only developed technology, but also strengthened its energy creatures. They even developed space battleships. And they found their mother nest directly at the first time. Before, this situation had never been imagined by the alien Star Soul. After offending Lu Liang, although he was also worried, he was definitely not scared. Because he had announced the coordinates of Chaos Star and exposed the powerful energy creatures. He believed that the powerful civilization in this starfield, knowing the existence of energy creatures, would definitely swallow chaos like a predator on the grassland that smelled blood, and there would be no residue left. But by chance, an accident happened. The Star Souls of the entire starfield did not expect that the invincible Mars would fall into the hands of chaos. So it seems that after Chaos Star fought against the powerful Martians, it also studied their spacecraft thoroughly and invented the spacecraft itself. What the alien couldn't have imagined was that the creature incarnated by Chaos was not so much stronger than before. He clearly remembered that in that nest, the monster incarnated by Chaos was only more than 30 meters long, and the energy beams it ejected were far less powerful than they are now. But just now, Chaos Star jumped off the battleship, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a huge monster more than 80 meters long. The energy beams sprayed from its mouth were even more powerful, and the powerful body of the alien queen was melted in just a moment. The alien Star Soul didn't even have time to feel the pain, and its consciousness had already returned to the star core. I don't believe it. This is not true. Chapter 62. Inadequate Logistics. The alien Star Soul was unwilling to admit what had just happened. When he saw that Chaos had only brought 3 spaceships, he was still full of confidence. After all, judging from other Star Souls or creatures, only bringing such a little combat power was not enough for the consumption of 80 billion aliens. Even if they used the lives of the aliens in the end, they could easily defeat the opponent. But now his confidence was shaken, especially when he saw thousands of dragons and hundreds of Godzillas walking out of the spaceships, and the energy creatures that had been strengthened made him even more scared. The army of Chaos Star was using the guns in their hands to frantically slaughter the aliens rushing in front of them. Although the number of the alien army was large, the quality and strength were worrying. On the open plains, there was no shelter, and these aliens could not play their original advantages at all. The advantage of the aliens was close combat and ambushing in the dark. Now they can only use their lives to pile up and rely on numbers to get close to the Chaos Star spaceship. If Lu Liang only brought these planetary armies, it would not be too difficult for the aliens to win. But Lu Liang brought so many powerful energy creatures. The lava dragon roared in the sky, spewing energy fireballs at the alien army from a high position. These fireballs exploded in the alien group, constantly creating a blank area, but then it was filled with countless aliens. And the 100 Godzillas stood neatly beside the spacecraft, and then used the laser beams in their mouths to ruthlessly harvest the lives of the aliens. The planetary army in battle, looking at the terrifying combat power of the dragon and Godzilla, was secretly shocked. Humans probably know the existence of these creatures. After all, planetary exploration is not too blank. However, this is the first time that humans have seen these monsters hunting enemies. To be honest, at first glance, humans thought that these Godzillas were all gentle herbivores. After all, they have been living on nibbling minerals. Even when the scientists of Eagle Country captured Godzilla for research, these creatures did not resist, but lay on the ground and let humans toss. Therefore, when the human army saw the attack of Godzilla and the giant dragon for the first time, they could not be distracted on the battlefield, but they were all shocked. However, the soldiers waiting for battle in the rear were whispering to each other, "These monsters are awesome. They are more powerful than our machine guns and cannons. I finally know why the UFO was shot down thousands of years ago. It turns out that there are such powerful creatures on our planet. I wonder why Lord Zinghan must bring these monsters to fight. They take up so much space. Wouldn't it be better to put some supplies or more troops? But I didn't expect that the overall combat power of these monsters is stronger than 3 battleships. Don't discuss it anymore. Prepare to go to the front line to continue fire suppression." "Yes, sir." The soldiers waiting in the rear came back to their senses from being shocked by Godzilla, and then reorganized and went to the front line. The battle was completely one-sided. No matter how many aliens rushed, they would be suppressed by human firepower and easily solved by the intertwined firepower of the monsters. Even Lu Liang himself transformed into Godzilla, frantically killing the aliens under his feet. Report: General, the battlefield situation is very good. The aliens can't break through our defense at all. A messenger reported this news to Li Shenglan. But Li Shenglan was not as happy as the soldier imagined. He frowned and asked, "How is the progress of the planetary driller?" Hearing the officer's question, the monitoring personnel of the bridge control center quickly switched the battle scene on the screen and returned to the planetary driller protected by 3 warships. The huge planetary driller was making a loud humming sound, constantly drilling the drill into the ground. But after the senior executives of the bridge command center saw it, the joy on their faces suddenly disappeared, and they were worried instead. It has been 3 hours since the planetary driller was built and put into use. But the data on the planetary driller showed that it had only drilled more than 10 kilometers at this time. There were also people in the bridge command center who didn't understand the situation at the moment, and some scientific researchers were explaining it to them. Our planetary drill can drill more than 10 kilometers in the geology of this planet in 3 hours. Let's assume it's 3 kilometers per hour, which is more than 60 meters per minute, or even more than 1 meter per second. This speed is already very fast, but this alien planet is larger than our home planet, and its radius is close to 15,000 kilometers. According to detailed calculations, the distance from the surface of the planet to the mantle is more than tens of thousands of kilometers. Even if we keep the drill running 24 hours a day, it will take 125 days to enter the core of the planet at the current drilling progress. Considering that the energy of the core of this planet is not as great as that of our home planet, the time to reach the core will only be more, not less. More than 4 months. The leaders of the bridge center were all dumbfounded. Even the senior executives who had estimated and worried about it before couldn't help but take a breath. Everyone knew that this war would be a protracted war, but they didn't expect it to take so long. Looking at the situation of these aliens, they are still approaching here continuously. If this situation continues for more than 4 months, then the monster army and all the soldiers will need to fight for 4 months without sleep. This, to be honest, it is not groundless worry, it is really unlikely. Report. General, according to the estimation of weapons inventory and consumption, we will run out of ammunition and food in more than 50 days at most. General, our soldiers are human beings, not unconscious and tireless machines. How can they last for 4 months? If it really takes that long, our logistics supply will not only have problems with ammunition, but also food, equipment, and energy. Hearing these reports, Li Liang closed his eyes and took a deep breath. 3 seconds later, he slammed the table. The war has just begun, and you are here with sad faces. What's the matter? Are you scared? Our Lord Inghan is still fighting on the front line, and you are going to retreat. Tell the soldiers below to save ammunition, stop strafing and suppressing, and switch to point fire attacks. The armed helicopters and tanks are responsible for attacking those huge and powerful aliens alone. There is no doubt that our war is a protracted war. We must race against time and hold on to the end. Chapter 63, Endless Army. Contact the engineering department and ask them to speed up the drilling. The 3-dimensional projection of the bridge command center immediately showed the chief engineer in charge of the drilling machine outside. Chief Engineer Zhang, can the drilling speed be increased? It takes too long now, and our soldiers may not be able to buy that much time. Not only the senior executives in the bridge center were worried, but Chief Engineer Zhang was also worried about this problem. General Li, the speed of the drill bit does not decrease at a uniform rate. As the layers of drill bits on the outside wear and fall off, the drill bits inside will become smaller and smaller, and the drilling speed will also become faster and faster. And we have also discovered the problem of too low efficiency. Engineers are studying improvements, but it will take time. But please rest assured, General Li, we will definitely work hard to speed up the drilling progress. Please ask General Liu to command the soldiers to buy us precious time. After hearing Chief Engineer Zhang's answer, Li Liang sighed. Now the soldiers have just arrived at the alien star. These soldiers who have been hibernating for 200 years have just entered the battle excitedly. But as time goes by, their energy will be slowly consumed, and they will become more and more tired. Now, we can only hope that the speed of drilling can be accelerated, and the alien star core can be successfully penetrated before the soldiers' energy is exhausted. Everyone is racing against time. On the battlefield, the soldiers are killing the aliens with their weapons. These aliens are like moving targets, and their physical skills cannot withstand the modern weapons of human civilization. After only a few hours, the bodies of the aliens piled up as high as a hill. At this time, the soldiers heard the superiors ordering them to save ammunition. When the smart soldiers saw these endless aliens, they had already guessed, and now their guesses have been confirmed. After the soldiers received the order to reduce the frequency of firing, the front line of the alien army immediately advanced a lot. The alien Star Soul was already scared by Lu Liang at this time, and he didn't have the courage to transform and fight again. But it was not a good idea to just watch, so he simply shouted at Lu Liang from a distance. Haha, chaos, you see, your creatures don't seem to have enough stamina, but my aliens are still coming. It looks like your creatures are going to be wiped out. Lu Liang didn't have time to talk nonsense with the alien Star Soul who could only talk big. The rapid drop in the frequency of the human army's firing made even he feel the pressure increase suddenly. Lu Liang lay down his huge body, put his mouth as close to the ground as possible, and then sprayed out a ray containing powerful energy. Finally, he swung to control the direction, and with just this one move, all the aliens in the fan-shaped area of hundreds of meters in front of him were evaporated. This method is also to minimize the waste of energy and increase the number of aliens killed. The alien Star Soul was right. The endless alien army was indeed coming in an endless stream. 8 hours have passed, and countless aliens are still rushing to the front line, approaching the 3 warships step by step. After 8 hours, the human warriors are already exhausted. They have been concentrating on defense for 8 hours. Both their physical and mental strength are close to the limit. Order. Change of guard. Li Shenglang saw that the soldiers' shooting accuracy had declined, and immediately arranged for the soldiers to change guard. The new soldiers took over, and the soldiers who had fought before immediately returned to the warship for supplies and rest. 8 hours of uninterrupted attack, even with the current human physical strength, is still a bit too much. Those with weaker physiques all felt sore in their arms, so they massaged their arms to relax. Time went on like this, and the human soldiers were divided into 2 groups, fighting and resting in rotation. From the excitement when they first landed on this planet, to the numbness of the constant attacks, to the gradual fatigue and weakness, this process only took more than 10 days. More than 10 days passed, but the aliens did not decrease at all, and the human soldiers gradually lost their fighting spirit and patience. Lu Liang, who noticed all this, used the power of the Star Soul to connect their minds. At that moment, it was as if a gentle and dazzling sun appeared in his mind. These exhausted human soldiers instantly regained their spirits. "It's Master Xinghan. I saw Master Xinghan," a soldier shouted loudly. He was almost in despair, but he straightened his back in an instant, raised his gun, and shot the alien in the head not far away. "I saw it too. Is this Master Xinghan's true body? So warm, so gentle, and much more energetic. I feel full of strength now. Master Xinghan is still fighting. How can we lose face for our home planet? Comrades, kill." If these soldiers rested on time, it would not be a big deal, but the endless alien army made their hearts tired and panicked. After all, the soldiers didn't know when it would end. But Lu Liang gave them a rekindled spirit, and these soldiers instantly got rid of pessimistic thoughts, and they were full of fighting spirit again. Lu Liang actually did nothing, but used the few Star Soul powers that he could control to disperse a little bit of Star Soul power. But just this little bit was enough to cheer up the human soldiers. After doing all this, Lu Liang contacted the Avatar. He had been fighting non-stop for more than 10 days. Although he did not feel tired, he needed to know what was happening behind. Especially the situation of the planetary driller. He wanted to know the current progress of the drilling. How is the situation? Where are we now? As soon as Lu Liang stepped into the bridge command center, he asked the general manager Li Shenglang. Now they are not in their own territory, but on an alien planet. Interference and shielding of the alien Star Soul can be done, but the power of the Star Soul cannot be used to investigate the situation on this planet. The Star Soul power just distributed to the soldiers is also one of the few powers he can control, but it is limited to this. Li Shenglang saw Lu Liang enter the command center and asked about the situation of the planetary driller as soon as he opened his mouth, and immediately came up to give a report. Master Star Soul, after the engineer's improvements, the efficiency of the drill bit has been improved a lot. Now, according to the data, it has drilled 2,000 kilometers. 2,000 kilometers. Lu Liang's expression was a little bleak, and he sighed lightly. This speed and efficiency are much worse than the previous simulation progress. As if seeing Lu Liang's confusion, Li Shenglang immediately added an explanation. After the drill goes deep, the underground rock and stones will hinder the efficiency of the drill. It takes a lot of time to bypass or clean these things. The actual operation will be slightly slower than the simulation. This is the first time the planetary drilling machine has been put into use. It has been simulated countless times before, but it is impossible to use its own home planet for drilling experiments, so some unexpected situations are inevitable. It is also impossible to take all these situations into account during the simulation. Now the biggest obstacle is the underground rock and stones. Lu Liang suddenly had an idea. Chapter 64, Reversal of Situation. Lu Liang suddenly thought that his monster army lived by eating stones and minerals. In other words, if he sent the monster army underground to eat the ores and rock formations that blocked the way, would the speed of the drill bit be increased rapidly? Lu Liang did it as he thought. He decisively sent 10 Godzillas to dive into the well. Since the planetary drill had a large initial drill bit and the hole was also large, Godzilla could only hang on the well wall with his limbs and sneak in little by little. With 10 less Godzillas on the battlefield, the frontal firepower was reduced again, and the pressure increased dramatically. The alien Star Soul also noticed that Lu Liang was no longer attacking, thinking that he was tired, and immediately mocked, "Chaos? What's wrong? Is that all? My alien army is not over yet. It is impossible to kill all the alien army with these 300,000 soldiers, so everything they did was to prevent them from approaching the warship and the planetary drill." Due to Lu Liang's interference with the alien Star Soul, he had not yet noticed that the planetary driller was working non-stop under the feet of the army brought by Chaos. As the 10 Godzilla sneaked in, they cleaned up the rocks that were drilled out. In this way, humans no longer need to clean up these things that are in the way, and the efficiency of drilling has been greatly improved. If this situation continues, it should take another 40 days to successfully drill into the star core. In this way, there is no need to save too much on weapons and ammunition. Order. Strengthen fire suppression. The soldiers were already full of energy. After hearing the order conveyed by their superiors, they swept away the haze and increased fire suppression. Since the request to save ammunition, the soldiers have been pursuing a one-shot kill in combat. After such a long period of training, their marksmanship and understanding of the aliens have also improved significantly. Now, their fire suppression, compared with the firepower pouring in the first battle, is also based on lethality. The alien army's front line was forced to retreat a long way, and humans also felt that this was the darkness before dawn. If they continued to hold on, the dawn would come soon. Li Shenglan was also secretly happy. As long as he persisted for a few dozen days, the work of the planetary driller would be completed. By then, the war would be over, and the alien army would be destroyed in front of Lord Xinghan. Countless alien corpses piled up on this plain on the battlefield. Fortunately, Godzilla's energy beam could melt and disintegrate these corpses, otherwise these corpses alone would be a big trouble. As time went on, the planetary driller finally reached a depth of 5,000 meters, and the alien Xinghan finally realized that something was wrong at this time. Previously, its perception ability was interfered and shielded by Lu Liang, but the depth reached by the planetary driller was enough to make him feel panic and fear for no reason. Chaos. You are so despicable. What on earth are you using to dig? The alien Star Soul couldn't see the completely shielded planetary drill, but he knew at this moment that in the middle of the 3 spaceships, there was a hole that extended infinitely to the star core. And at this time, the distance to the star core was almost halfway. The distance to the star core was only more than 6,000 meters. This discovery instantly made him sweat. When he was on Chaos Star, he also dug into the mountain, went deeper along the pit, and then went to the star core to devour Chaos. But with the speed of the alien's excavation, it would take at least hundreds of years to enter the star core of Chaos Star. And now, only more than 20 days have passed. That's right, in more than 20 days, Chaos used some unknown method to dig a pit more than 5,000 meters deep. In response to the alien Star Soul's question, Lu Liang pretended to be confused. What are you talking about? But then he acted as if he suddenly realized something. Oh, you mean the pit? That's not a thing. It's the treasure that can let me enter your star core. The alien Star Soul's eyes revealed a murderous intent, and he appeared again. Then he commanded the alien army, personally led the army, and rushed towards the human army with a more fierce offensive. At this time, he even sent some precious alien queens. This precious mother body that can produce aliens infinitely has been sent to the battlefield. It is conceivable how panicked the alien Star Soul is. Now this war has reached the most critical moment. If Chaos really digs through the earth and enters the star core, then the war between them will not be won by the aliens. The alien queen moves very slowly, but her body strength is more outstanding than that of ordinary aliens. At least, she can withstand the ordinary bullets of a human army. If you want to destroy an alien queen, you can only use tanks and armed helicopters to cause considerable damage. Moreover, there are still 90 Godzillas left to help out, so the joining of the alien queen is not a big crisis. The war is still going on, and there has never been a moment of rest. Although the situation on the battlefield is a one-sided massacre, the aliens still bring boundless pressure to humans by relying on their numbers. The advantage of numbers is manifested on the battlefield, especially as the defender in the war. Once you have the advantage of numbers, the situation of the war is hard to say. But Lu Liang is not stupid. Knowing that he can't compete with the number and consumption head on, he simply plays an open conspiracy. I will use the planetary drill to get your star core. If your army wants to destroy it, you must first deal with my human and monster army. In this way, the two levels are reversed, and Lu Liang becomes the defender. With high-tech weapons, cleaning up endless aliens is like mowing the grass. Now, the planetary drill has gone deep into the ground, and the drill bit of the drill is still being worn and replaced. The drill bit is getting smaller and smaller, and the progress and efficiency are getting faster and faster. If nothing unexpected happens, the time to drill into the star core will be shorter and shorter. Just when Lu Liang was happy about this, he unexpectedly saw a strange phenomenon. Do you think I haven't taken precautions against such a situation? The cold voice of the alien star soul came over. Lu Liang frowned immediately after hearing it, and felt a little uneasy in his heart. Haven't you discovered it yet? The alien star soul continued to add. The uneasy feeling that Lu Liang noticed made him more and more nervous. What did you find? The Bridge Command Center. Report. General. A large number of life fluctuations have been detected under the giant god. What? Li Shenglang hurried to the scientific and technological instrument for detecting life. Sure enough, a large number of red dots appeared underground under the giant god. Those red dots are the biological fluctuation signals of the alien planet. And this planet only has aliens. Quick. Giant god, take off. The giant god, which received the order, was about to take off, but below it, it was shaking, as if there was an earthquake. Immediately, dense holes appeared on the ground, and a huge hole appeared under the Titan, and the Titan fell instantly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 65. All the cards revealed. These aliens, at some point, had dug holes from afar and came to the foot of the human army. It's an alien. Hiss. A cry came, and then turned into a scream. The first victim of the human army appeared. Countless aliens came to the foot of the human army through the holes below, and then launched a surprise attack. Kill. Dozens of human warriors in danger. At such a tense moment, adrenaline was rapidly secreted, and their eyes became blank. This is the unlocking of the sealed gene lock. In an instant, the fighting instincts of these warriors soared, and their speed and strength also increased amazingly. Even, they fought with the aliens in close combat, and they were not inferior. Damn. It's this kind of power, the power that chaos had erupted before. The alien star soul looked gloomily at the human warriors, who had come into contact with a gene lock. After the gene lock was released, these human warriors were strengthened like supermen. In close combat, they could easily hammer and blast the aliens, which was very scary. However, what shocked the alien star soul even more was another group of people. Super warriors and the superpowered army. That's right, this is Lu Liang's trump card. In order to prevent the trump card from appearing unexpectedly, these super warriors have been strengthened by the superpowered brain gene fragments, and they have mutated and mastered superpowers. The reason why these superpowers did not appear is that, as Lu Liang's trump card, he must give the alien star soul a surprise. Second, because they were fighting against ordinary soldiers before, suppressing the aliens with long-range firepower, how could they release superpowers to attack? But now, the aliens can attack close to them along the pits, and the super warriors' superpowers have a place to use. One by one, the aliens crawled out of the pits under the feet of the human army, but before they could understand the battlefield situation, they were lifted into the air by the super warriors who controlled gravity with superpowers. The soldiers who had a tacit understanding and the simulation training immediately shot the aliens who had no power to fight back in the head with one shot. Not only that, there are also super warriors who release superpowers and use a piece of electric sparks to jump in the alien army, scorching and smashing the aliens they touch. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. The alien star soul widened his eyes, and the tall alien queen who had transformed into her also opened her mouth wide, her jaw almost falling to the ground. It couldn't figure it out, even if Chaos had such a powerful superpowered force. But even the star souls were restricted in their abilities on other planets, but such humans could still use superpowers. Although they had very little power compared to the star souls, they were more than enough to deal with ordinary alien armies. Lu Liang looked at the situation on the battlefield below. The aliens were still crawling out of the holes, although some soldiers were able to defeat them by contacting the gene locks. But this was a very small number after all. There were not only aliens attacking from the underground on the battlefield, but don't forget, there was also a frontal battlefield. As a result, there were constantly soldiers being approached by the aliens, and then they were defeated and cruelly torn apart by the aliens. No. The soldiers responsible for defending the direction of the giant god must retreat and take off. Lu Liang sincerely admired these soldiers who believed in him and followed him on the Starry Sky expedition. He didn't want these soldiers to sacrifice easily. But, Lord Xinghan, if you do this, the planetary drill will lose a defense line from the direction of the Titan. Li Shenglan reminded him in time. If the Titan was allowed to take off and retreat at this time, the planetary drill might be invaded by aliens, and then, all the efforts would be in vain. It's okay. I can already sense the power of the Star Core. The rest of the distance is left to me. You order the army to take off and retreat. After issuing an irresistible order, Lu Liang, who was transformed into Godzilla, jumped down the drilling well without hesitation. On the battlefield, due to being attacked from all sides, the alien army had broken through the defense line of the human army. These aliens, like a tide, followed Lu Liang madly and jumped into this huge pit. On the ground, 3 spaceships took off one after another, and most of the soldiers and monsters had successfully evacuated. But there were still some brave warriors who did not have time to retreat. They could never return to their home planet and stayed on the alien planet forever. And they were accompanied not only by their comrades, but also by several Godzillas who did not have time to retreat. Even with Godzilla's strong physique, he would be hurt by the alien army. Even ants can swallow elephants, not to mention these aliens whose combat power is already extraordinary. The same is true for Lu Liang in deep space. He used his claws to grab the rock wall of the pit to slow down his falling speed. At the same time, he used his consciousness to control the Godzillas that were gnawing at the rocks at the bottom of the pit and kept spraying energy beams at the ground. Lu Liang wanted to use Godzilla's energy beams to continue to open up the unfinished route to the core of the star. Aliens kept falling overhead. They couldn't slow down. They could only fall quickly. Some even fell on the rock wall of the pit, and the penetration force directly killed them, and the corrosive blood splashed out after their death covered the edge of the pit. Some also fell right next to Lu Liang, and even climbed onto Lu Liang's body. There were many alien armies jumping into the pit, and with a large number of them, anything could happen. After a while, Lu Liang's body was covered with aliens, and a huge alien queen fell, hitting Lu Liang on the head, knocking him off the rock wall. It takes a long time to fall so deep underground, even if you keep falling. At a height of 10,000 kilometers, if you fall directly, even a strong person like Godzilla will probably be smashed into a pulp. This height is really too exaggerated. Even if Godzilla has thick skin and flesh, his internal organs are more fragile in comparison. Now, Lu Liang can only hope that when he falls, the 10 Godzillas can eliminate the last layer of barrier underground. Go straight to the star core full of energy, so as to avoid falling into the rock layer and being smashed into a pulp. Godzilla at the bottom desperately sprayed out energy pipelines, desperately melting the Earth's crust. The deep well is still deepening, and slowly, the color of the crustal rock layer gradually changes from yellow to black, and then from black to dark red. Finally, before Lu Liang fell, the Earth's crust completely disappeared. The star core full of energy was exposed to the outside world. Come on. Chaos. I won't despair. I don't believe that your star soul power is stronger than mine. Let's fight. Devouring was inevitable. The alien star soul was not sure whether it was fear or shock. The ferocity was aroused and it roared madly. Lu Liang also fell from the deep well, just like the essence blended stone into water and plunged into the star core. The incarnation of Godzilla, including the aliens who fell with him, were instantly evaporated when they came into contact with the star core. Even if a strong body can bathe and roll in the magma, it is impossible to survive in the star core with stronger temperature and radiation. Although Lu Liang's body was evaporated, he had already come into contact with the alien star soul. His consciousness did not return to his home planet, but still existed in this star core with a hot energy. The cruel struggle between the star souls has come to an end. At this point, unless the two star souls decide the winner, no one can escape. Chapter 66 Return with a full load. I said, I will find you and devour you. In the alien star core, Lu Liang's consciousness is still intact, and of course, he can also sense the existence of the alien star soul. Both sides are looking at each other. When Lu Liang first became a star soul, he once devoured a newborn star soul. Obviously, the alien star soul is much stronger than the newborn star soul, but it is still not as strong as Lu Liang. Stop talking nonsense. It has come to this. Either I die, or your consciousness returns to your star core. But I will remember you, as long as I can live. It will be either you, or I in the future. The two communicated with each other, and the two star souls in the star core finally merged together. They entangled and tore each other in the star core, and finally became one consciousness. In the sky, in the space battleship, all the human army left the ground, and hung in the air waiting for the news of the star soul. At this time, they can finally take a good rest. After dozens of days of fighting day and night, the human warriors are already very tired physically and mentally. In the command center of the bridge, a general quietly looked at the three-dimensional screen in front of him. The screen showed the scene of Lu Liang's incarnation falling into the star core and then melting instantly. They didn't know whether the star soul had succeeded, so they could only wait silently with expectation and hope. General, look. Those aliens have dispersed. The countless aliens under the battleship began to leave in all directions for some reason. If the war was a tide, it was like a receding tide at this moment. In the star core, the two star souls have merged into one, and the energy has become stronger than before. This planet is finally under my control. Even the aliens, I can control. The star soul that survived in the end was obviously Lu Liang. Lu Liang was a time traveler. Compared with the star souls in the universe, his consciousness awakened and generated consciousness earlier. And he also had a system. When the two star souls were entangled and torn apart, Lu Liang's system would actually attack the alien consciousness in order to protect Lu Liang. Maybe if Lu Liang failed, then the system would no longer exist. Under various circumstances, when the two star souls were fighting to swallow each other, Lu Liang was completely in the lead with a crushing momentum. In the end, in the fear and unwillingness to regret of the alien star soul, Lu Liang swallowed it without hesitation. Lu Liang did not forget that this alien star soul had maliciously exposed him. It only took a few days to violently swallow the alien star soul and quickly control this alien planet. Now his state is very strange, as if he has two bodies. One is the chaotic mother planet, and the other is the alien mother planet. The consciousness of the alien star soul has been wiped out by him, leaving only his power and control of the alien planet. The system also popped up a message at this time. Current time. 13.5 billion Earth years after the birth of the universe. Host planet. The volume is 3 times that of the Earth, and the energy is 8 times that of the Earth. Planet life. Energy creatures. Intelligent creatures ruling star domain. Main planet. Alien planet interstellar civilization. Primary congratulations host. You have successfully occupied a planet. The alien planet. Unlock the gene bank of the alien planet's creatures. The host can view and use the alien planet's gene fragments in the gene laboratory. Host, you can use the star soul's clone ability to create an avatar on the alien planet. Reminder, the alien star and the mother planet avatar can appear at the same time. A series of prompts resounded in Lu Liang's consciousness. Star soul's clone ability? Now I can have 2 avatars at the same time. Lu Liang closed his eyes and then carefully felt the new ability he had gained after swallowing the alien star soul. Incarnation. Lu Liang's mind moved, and an ordinary alien that looked ordinary appeared on the surface of the alien planet. And the consciousness of this alien was actually connected to Lu Liang's body. Incarnation. Lu Liang's consciousness moved again, and a human appeared next to this ordinary alien. That's right, this is Lu Liang's human incarnation. Damn. I can really have two bodies now? Lu Liang looked at the ordinary alien in disbelief, and the alien was also blinking his eyes at him. This feeling is too wonderful. The alien star soul was created by himself using the ability of the clone. This alien clone has complete control over this planet, and if Lu Liang's human incarnation wants to take over the control of the alien planet, he must dissipate the alien clone to do so. Swallowing the star soul of another planet can actually create a unique, complete biological incarnation belonging to that planet. This new ability is really a pleasant surprise. Otherwise, the two places are far apart, and Lu Liang doesn't know how to manage it in the future. Moreover, after swallowing the alien star soul, the energy in the star core was also absorbed by Lu Liang, and his star soul power increased by 60% compared to before. Lu Liang's power has made a huge breakthrough. In the bridge command center of the giant god space battleship, the virtual three-dimensional image is constantly scanning the land below. Finally, they found a human and an alien not far away, standing still, not running away like the other aliens. General, is that Lord Xinghan? There, Lu Liang was staring at an alien, but it was obvious that they did not fight. The alien's hostility towards us has disappeared. So, has Lord Xinghan's plan succeeded? Quick, send an armed helicopter to pick up Lord Xinghan. A helicopter was about to fly out of the warship, but the human suddenly disappeared on the image. All of a sudden, the senior officials of the bridge command center panicked, but the next moment, Lu Liang appeared in front of them. As soon as he entered the bridge command center, Lu Liang smiled and said, "Success. Now, I have gained full control of the alien planet. Now, the creatures and resources of the alien planet, all of them are ours." But before many senior officials could share the joy, Lu Liang became serious and continued to add, "Thank you for your great contribution, and for the soldiers who sacrificed their lives. We will always remember them." In the battleship, all humans are mourning for every soldier who died on this planet, and spend time bringing their bodies aboard the battleship, wanting to bring them back to the home planet. This expedition can be said to be a full load. The almost exhausted arsenal is now filled with unique minerals, organisms and other materials from the alien planet. The researchers in the battleships are all excited, and many of them have directly started to study these organisms and materials. The three battleships slowly took off, gradually rushed out of the atmosphere, and came to the infinite starry sky. After the battle, go home. Chapter 67: A New Crisis. Thousands of years of grievances came to an end today. Lu Liang looked at the alien planet going farther and farther outside the window, and felt much more relaxed. This alien star soul exposed himself in this starfield, and he has been living in fear for these years. He worked hard to develop technology and civilization, and worked hard to study genes to transform organisms, just to survive in this cruel universe. Unknowingly, his current strength has become much stronger. Not only does he have terrible energy creatures, but he has also successfully developed civilization to enter the starry sky. In this starfield, Lu Liang is confident that he is no longer afraid of any star soul. As time goes by, his civilization will become stronger in the future, and the days of fear in the past will never come back. Silence has returned to the battleship. The soldiers reported to the hibernation chamber, and the current destination is the mother planet. In fact, for the hibernating soldiers, all this is just a dream that lasted for 400 years. In the dozens of days of wakefulness in the middle, in addition to eating and replenishing the body, they are fighting against the aliens. But when they returned to their home planet again, time had changed. 400 years was enough to turn their home planet into a strange world. The traces of their past lives had long disappeared in the long river of time, and their relatives and friends had all passed away one after another. Only they were still young and alive. Lu Liang felt a lot of emotion in his heart. He had an infinite lifespan, and could understand the situation he would face next. The most appropriate example was when he was the Dragon Emperor. The people around him left one by one, and then he met new people, and went back and forth. This feeling was very lonely, but as a star soul on the planet, he had long been accustomed to it. Lu Liang shook his head and abandoned these distracting thoughts, but checked the information sent from the home planet. Among them, there was a direction that attracted his attention. It was the information about the planet code named A8Z3 that he sent to the home planet when he led the army on an expedition. Lu Liang opened the image, but found that the planet A8Z3 in the image was trembling like a heart. Yes, this planet actually beats regularly like a human heart. This scene looked very strange. Lu Liang watched for a long time, and he instinctively felt that for some reason, this planet could make his heart palpitate. He clearly remembered that he had the same feeling when he observed this planet face to face. After swallowing the alien star soul, his star soul power has been greatly improved. At this time, if the distance is not far, he can communicate with the mother planet. Lu Liang used the power of the star soul to connect to the mother planet, and he directly found the researchers of the Academy of Science and Technology. The people from the Academy of Science and Technology were startled by the voice that suddenly appeared in their minds. But he thought of it in an instant that this was the popular and well-known star soul 200 years ago. After all, more than 400 years ago, the appearance of Lord Starsoul was a sensation. Only 400 years later, these histories can still be preserved intact. Now, the great Lord Starsoul has actually contacted himself. You are the scientist in charge of the exploration and research of the planet A8Z3, right? Lu Liang went straight to the point. He was looking for the person in charge of observing the starry sky in the Academy of Science and Technology, and this human was the person in charge of the exploration and research of the planet A8Z3. You are Lord Xinghan? This is amazing. Am I communicating with you spiritually? The scientist was very excited about this phenomenon, but soon figured out his position and his reckless behavior. Sorry, Lord Xinghan, I'm really a little curious and excited. Yes, I'm the person in charge of researching A8Z3. Well, I saw the message you sent to the Titan. Tell me about the specific situation of the planet A8Z3. Okay, sir. The message sent to the Titan battleship was sent 2 years ago. There is at least 2 light years between Chaos Star and the alien planet, so when this message was transmitted to the Titan, it was already 2 years later. Just as that message said, 2 years ago, our detectors discovered that A8Z3 began to vibrate regularly. It was as if it was breathing. Later, the frequency of this planet's vibrations became faster and faster. We sent exploration spacecraft to observe the surface of A8Z3 and collected a lot of material for research, but we found nothing. So we guessed that the abnormal movement of this planet came from its core. After another half a year, the frequency of its vibrations became more and more intense, and finally one day an earthquake occurred. We observed that there was a huge tentacle sticking out from the depths of the planet. The tentacle was huge, just like a mountain range. So we observed it first. The information conveyed by the scientist could be clearly perceived. He became more and more excited. It turns out that this tentacle is the life wave detected before. This tentacle protrudes from the ground. That observation was the first one, but it is definitely not the last one. After that, every few dozen days, a tentacle will protrude from the ground. Later, the planet A8Z3 was full of twisting and waving tentacles. The latest observation found that this tentacle seems to be a hole. Its upper body actually broke out of the shell of the planet A8Z3. After research and discussion, we determined that this is a star creature. It is a terrifying creature that parasitizes in the core of the planet and feeds on the core. The first scientist who discovered it named it Planet Devourer. Planet Devourer. Lu Liang instantly went from a good mood of victory to a cold sweat. The information received by the giant god came from the mother planet 2 years ago. At that time, scientists made a discovery and reported it to him instantly. After leaving the planet, all the communication marks left for humans were no longer useful, so humans had no way to actively contact the Star Soul, and could only wait for the Star Soul to contact them. So when Lu Liang received this information, 2 years had passed. The image on the transmission showed that the planet A8Z3 was beating slowly and regularly, and the crust on the surface of the planet also looked very soft, shaking with the vibration. At this moment, Lu Liang really wanted to know the current situation of the planet A8Z3. Please tell me the current situation of A8Z3. The current situation of the planet Devourer. Lu Liang immediately said to the person in charge, and officially changed the name of the planet A8Z3 to the planet Devourer. In order to save time, it was transmitted when I started communicating with you just now, but it still takes 2 years to convey. Chapter 68 Star Creatures. Lu Liang's voice reached the head's mind again. Across a distance of more than 2 light years, he was communicating with the scientist in real time. Go and watch the latest images now. Although the scientist felt strange, he still followed Lu Liang's instructions. Regarding A8Z3, oh no, it's about the image information of the planet Devourer. The people in the institute record and watch it every day. Every time they watch it, they are still shocked, and there is no surprise this time. He is really interested in this terrifying life form, and the image of the planet Devourer has been known to Lu Liang through his eyes. This is a huge and terrifying creature. If the planet is compared to an egg, then the planet Devourer is like a chick that has just broken out of its shell. Only a part of it is exposed now, and it looks like. Lu Liang really can't describe its appearance. He has never seen a creature like this. If you have to make an analogy, the planet Devourer is like a meat mountain covered with tentacles. The huge trunk of this creature is covered with strange eyes and tentacles. The tentacles on both sides are extremely thick, countless times longer than other tentacles, and many small tentacles branch out from these 2 tentacles. Its body buried deep in the planet will have countless tentacles and eyes if nothing unexpected happens. These strange tentacles are like the roots of plants, as if they are constantly plundering energy and matter from the core of the planet. Through the tentacles on the surface, it can be seen that they are like the feet of an octopus and are covered with suction cups. The suction cups on the tentacles are attached to the surface of the planet, and it is not difficult to see that they are absorbing the planet's matter when they touch back and forth. This is the main reason why researchers named it the planet Devourer. The overall look is terrifying and twisted. Even Lu Liang, who is a star soul, felt his scalp tingling after seeing its image, and the palpitations in his heart became more and more obvious, as if it was an instinctive fear. Lu Liang thought for a while, and always felt that the glasses of this planet Devourer were staring at the approximate position of Chaos Star, as if as long as he broke free from the planet, he would rush to Chaos Star as soon as possible, and then destroy himself. Of course, this may also be a guess caused by fear. Is there a way to kill it? Lu Liang's scalp tingled, and his body shuddered. I don't know when his back was covered with cold sweat. Humans may not understand Lu Liang's feelings. In human cognition, this monster is far away from Chaos Star, and will not pose any threat to them. But for Lu Liang, this distance is not even half a light year, and this distance is just short of close proximity. But even if Lu Liang asked this, he probably knew that with the current cultural technology of mankind, even if another 400 years have passed, I'm afraid that there is still no way to deal with this kind of star creature. Master Star Soul, with the current size of the Devourer of planets, it can completely ignore technological weapons. Its body is as big as a planet. Just to support its body from being crushed by gravity, it needs a very strong physical fitness. Compared to it, Godzilla, the monster on our planet, is just like a microorganism. Its physical strength can already ignore ordinary firearms. A creature of this level. The person in charge is Adam's apple slate, and he swallowed hard. Even if all nuclear weapons are used, it is difficult to pose a considerable threat to it. Nuclear weapons are the most powerful weapons developed by humans. They have been tested on Chaos Star before. They are so powerful that everything in the surrounding area will be melted by high temperature, and the huge shock wave will also sweep to more distant areas. But this is already the strongest weapon of mankind. In front of the Devourer of planets, it is probably not worth mentioning that nuclear fusion weapon has been tested on the planet, but as a star soul, I have never felt anything, and even the crustal activity has not been affected. Even if humans detonate all nuclear weapons at once, they can only destroy the creatures and environment on the surface of the Earth. Lu Liang spent countless hours after the nuclear explosion, and was able to continue to create creatures. Planets and creatures are not of the same order of magnitude. and this planet devourer, which feeds on the core and matter of the planet, must have a body that is stronger than the land on the surface of the planet, otherwise it cannot support its huge body. As if sensing Lu Liang's worry, the person in charge comforted him easily. Master Xinghan, don't worry. According to our previous speculation, the reproduction of this creature is extremely difficult. Its reproduction method is to scatter its own gene seeds into the universe after adulthood, and then land on other planets for parasitic growth. We are sure that we can intercept such seeds. Moreover, there is no evidence that this huge creature can move freely away from the planet. So, you, the person in charge, has not finished speaking, but the real-time images in their eyes have undergone amazing changes. On the planet, where the planet devourer is entrenched, countless tentacles began to wave wildly, and the two strongest tentacles supported the body downwards, as if to pull the body out of the planet. The size of this planet is only half of that of Chaos Star. Its core and the materials deep inside the planet have been completely devoured. With a strong burst of underground caves, this extremely fragile and barren planet actually fell apart. And this also revealed the true face of the planet devourer. A huge purple sphere, covered with strange eyes and tentacles all over the body. The appearance looks extremely evil and threatening. What's more terrifying is the behavior of this devourer. It ignores other planets around it and sails straight in the direction of Chaos Star. The head of the Human Research Institute slapped himself hard and then said urgently, Master Xinghan, we need to hold an emergency meeting. Lu Liang also felt the urgent pressure. It seems that he can't wait leisurely for the spacecraft to return slowly. He explained something to Li Shenglong and then quickly withdrew the incarnation. In an instant, he appeared on Chaos Star. The consciousness returned to his own planet, and then immediately used the consciousness to explore the distant starry sky. Deep in the distant starry sky, there was a greedy and evil consciousness, which was locking onto himself. Now it is completely certain that the destination of the planet devourer is his planet. A planetary meeting must be held immediately. The sense of crisis in Lu Liang's heart is far greater than when his coordinates were exposed to the starry sky. This creature actually ran towards him as soon as he broke free. Could it be that he can understand the radiation communication between star souls? Hiss. If this is the case, it would not be too strange to come directly to him. There is a powerful planet with star souls next to it. It will not be missed by greed. At this stage, there is no solution to deal with this kind of star creature. With the current technological level of human civilization, it is impossible to hurt it. And he can solve it with the power of Star Soul. The power of Star Soul can only be on the planet when it is strongest. Do I have to wait until the devourer comes to my planet to confront it? That would be too late. Lu Liang was upset. This was the first time he felt it was difficult. Chapter 69 Supreme Council. It's all the fault of the alien. Lu Liang wanted to bring out the alien incarnation and beat him up. It was because the alien announced its coordinates that the entire starfield knew its location. What was even more terrifying was that he was being targeted by the planet devourer. Lu Liang was really panicking this time. With the technological weapons and monster army on his own planet, he was still confident that he could defeat the alien creatures. After all, they were all star souls born together, and he had a strength that could not be underestimated in this starfield. But this planet devourer that came out of nowhere might not be easy to deal with. If there were no technological weapons of the Star Destroyer level, it would really be impossible to fight against it. Star Destroyer weapon. Lu Liang suddenly remembered that the Star Soul of Mars said that he was studying the Star Destroyer cannon. Then he shook his head again. He didn't even know the surface location of Mars. Moreover, even if he found it, the Star Soul of Mars with the Star Destroyer weapon would be a greater threat than the planet devourer. If he really wasted time looking for Mars, it would be like driving a tiger to swallow a wolf, and he would hurt himself if he was not careful. Lu Liang was in a state of great headache. Now he was unsure of what to do. He could only convene a planetary meeting immediately to let the entire human society help him overcome the difficulties. Chaos Star. After having the technology of interstellar navigation, there were countless planets outside that could be colonized, which eased the problem of resource and territory competition within the planet. The 4 competing countries have also eased a lot. Although the 4 countries still exist independently in name, the one who really manages Chaos Star is the Supreme Council of the planet. Among the 7 speakers of the parliament, 4 are leaders of the 4 major countries, and he himself is the captain of the interstellar fleet and also has a seat. The remaining 2 positions, one is the planetary speaker elected to avoid political parties and other issues, and the other is very mysterious. Even Lucy doesn't know who the position belongs to. In this era, the human interstellar fleet has been fully integrated. In order to avoid suspicion and solve various problems and disputes, the fleet and the captain must be independent and then unified under the leadership of the Supreme Council of the planet. Therefore, the power of the interstellar captain can be said to be all-powerful. Fists are the hard truth. The few space battleships owned by the 4 major countries are far less than the large number of more than 300 ships in the interstellar fleet. Of course, the fleet has a smaller population than the others, because the number of people living on the interstellar fleet is far less than that on Chaos Star. During these 200 years, several planets in the same star system on Chaos Star have been transformed into colonies and gradually gained considerable popularity. Each planet also has its own representative and can have a precious voice in the Supreme Council of the planet. The captain of the interstellar fleet is called Lucy. His battleship is called Chaos, named after the mother planet. It is a super battleship as big as a city. It is 10 times larger than the first batch of battleships, which are the 3 used by Lu Liang in the previous expedition. Due to the technological barriers of the planet, it is very difficult to build a larger one. If you want to break through the size of the battleship again, the most important thing is to have a breakthrough in material technology, otherwise the current alloy technology cannot bear the support of a larger volume. Lucy came to Chaos Star for a meeting. This feeling of stepping on the ground made him very uncomfortable. He was born on Chaos and lived in the battleship most of the time and rarely landed. Except for the previous ship transformation, he was almost always in the command center of the bridge to contact his mother planet and other people. Although his ancestral home is still Lango, he is completely unfamiliar with this land. This is a living status of the human beings in the universe. They don't have much sense of belonging to the planet. I'm sorry, gentlemen, I'm late. Lucy pushed open the door of the planet's Supreme Council, ignored the people who cast their eyes on him, and walked straight to his seat, which was the front row of the Supreme Council. There were 7 seats in the first row. 4 of them were occupied by senior officials from the 4 major countries, and there was also a speaker who was responsible for managing the council and discussing content, but had no real power. Lucy's seat was naturally the position of the captain of the interstellar fleet. Huh. Is there someone sitting in that position? Lucy looked at the young man sitting in the last seat in surprise. As far as he knew, that position appeared earlier than his position as the captain of the interstellar fleet. But no one had ever sat there. Every time there was a meeting that required a decision, that position was absent. But unexpectedly, there was someone sitting there today, and it was a young man he had never met. Lucy didn't know much about the Chaos Mother planet. Without knowing his identity and specific circumstances, he naturally didn't make random guesses. Sorry, the Star Trek elevator was blocked for a while. Lucy looked around and smiled apologetically to everyone present, but everyone could see how perfunctory he was. Lucy always ignored the things on the planet and didn't care much. In his eyes, only the vast and endless sea of stars could make him indulge. Coming here to hold a meeting was just a formality due to his identity. Now his interstellar fleet can completely collect resources from other planets and build spacecraft away from the mother planet, and he is not afraid of the restrictions and threats from the Chaos planet. Therefore, he has almost no or towards these bigwigs present. Please continue. Lucy sat in his seat and then nodded to everyone. The president of the planetary parliament was also very helpless with Lucy. This person's ability was indeed outstanding. After becoming the captain of a battleship, he showed amazing talents and became the captain of the entire fleet. He led the fleet to control many resource planets, expanded the scale a lot, and brought back many important resources to the mother planet. Later, if it was not a major event, even several speakers could not mobilize Lucy's fleet. It was all because the conditions given to the captain were too good. The predecessors' parts were borne by the descendants. The planetary speaker continued the meeting. He sighed and said, Lucy, we are all waiting for you. This time we need the help of the interstellar fleet. We have to deal with a terrifying monster. Lucy was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that he would be the protagonist of the discussion this time. He looked at the center of the parliament. The image screen not far from everyone. The evil and terrifying planet devourer also successfully brought him a huge shock. Even Lucy, who had explored dozens of planets, had never seen such a monster for the first time. This kind of existence was completely beyond his cognition. No matter who you are, you will be curious about alien creatures and hope to find life forms different from humans in the vast universe. But you would not expect that you would encounter a monster beyond everyone's imagination almost as soon as you stepped out of the planet. The speaker of the planet glanced around the parliament hall and then looked at Lucy solemnly. After discussion, we decided that your warship, carrying nuclear fusion weapons, will attack this creature with force. Chapter 70 Ending Remarks. Due to data reasons and external factors, this book has been completed. First, the new book on the external site has achieved good results, and I don't have enough energy. Second, the data is not good, and I can't continue writing. I don't have enough motivation. Third, I will plan a new book and work hard to prove my truth. I will fight again next year. Fourth, I will start publishing a new book after the new year, so please stay tuned. I apologize to my family members who have always supported this book. Chapter 71 Recommend books. Recommend books. Recommend books. We have shared the subject matter of a friend's new book, Demon Lord, Starting to Enslave the Gods. I originally wanted to write something of this kind, but I've been playing games too hard lately and have no time to write a book. Lost Ark is really fun. I asked this guy to title his book Demon Lord, but he actually added another style. It looks like a flop, but to be honest, the content is very good. I hope you will support it. Please wait for my book. I've been very busy lately. If you want to know more about writers, please go for him, brothers. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.